Hello, it's Gray.
Hello, it is Crystal.
And this is Best Asian Beauties, a supernatural commentary podcast where I, someone who has seen this show so many times.
And I, someone who only knows the show through social media, discuss every single episode of Supernatural from start to finish. Also, we are both Asian.
Both Asian. For today's episode, we will be discussing Season 5, Episode 1, Sympathy For The Devil, written by Eric Kripke, directed by Robert Singer.
Classic pair-up.
Classic pair-up. Is Robert Singer in The Boys? Is that something they do? Have they stayed together forever? It's been so long, baby. We're fireworks.
What a great reference to a song by some random artist that Mitski also covered. I have no clue.
Let's see. Is he?
I think he is, because when I typed in Robert Singer, oh no, never mind. Robert Singer is the character in The Boys played by Jim Beaver, right?
That is crazy.
I just don't see why you could do that and be like, and no one will know what I've done to the world.
Supernatural is his, most recent directorial thing. And also, producer thing. He just quit.
I mean, do you think he made enough to not need to work anymore?
I'm sure he did. Have you heard about the money laundering whatever?
The what?
People are saying that because
the money laundering?
Yeah.
Because he is a director and a producer, and the producers do producers handle funding for shows?
Money?
Is that a thing?
I have no idea. And also, are we gonna cut all this in case I get sued for libel?
Are there different rules for international libel?
Please don't arrest me, Robert Singer. Okay, well, let's get on with the fucking episode. 501. First episode of season 5. I do feel like so much information is given to us immediately. And it is a bit of a surprise given that all other seasons of Supernatural, I feel start off with a season 1 that is either continuing what happened last episode. It's basically the season ender of the last episode, you know what I mean? Of the last season.
Sure,
or it's just fuck all.
And that's okay, the first category is 201 and 401 and fuck all is 301.
Yes.
Yes. I suppose in the sample size of 3, these are true statements.
No, yeah, you're right. That is a very small sample size. No, but this one, I feel if Supernatural was a 5-season show, I'd be oh, well, we're ending. This is the last season of the show. Mm-hmm. Because they introduce so many, vital things to the show, immediately, don't they?
Yeah.
And it was a surprise because I thought a lot of this stuff will be sprinkled in throughout the first half of season 5. I didn't know that it was immediately episode 1.
Yeah, I guess we just need to hit the ground running to wrap everything up.
Here we learn that Dean's a vessel and Sam is a vessel. I mean, first of all, Sam is Lucifer's vessel?
Wait, is that did I forget about that? Is that
Cass says it, doesn't he?
Cass?
Yeah, Cass tells them Lucifer's vessel is here.
Circling his vessel, by which he means Nick.
Oh, I thought that was it's Sam because he's also looking at Sam directly when he says it.
Well, I mean,
that makes more sense given that Nick was.
Nick was very much the deep plot of the episode.
God. Well, okay, then I completely misunderstood everything fundamentally. Maybe they're not introducing anything this episode. No, but the vessel Dean, I didn't know it was here. I didn't know it was here. And also, I didn't know Meg was gonna be here.
I knew Meg was gonna be here.
I didn't know that Meg was gonna be here. Yeah. I knew that she was gonna be in season 5 and she's going to appear earlier than
I knew
5
that Dean would say peanut butter. I know my Meg scenes.
Yeah, I knew that she was gonna be here before 5:10 because I mean obviously she had to be here before Cass and her kiss. They kiss in that episode, right?
Yeah, they do.
So I just didn't know it was episode 1. It didn't feel to me like an episode 1 thing. I don't know, and also Becky's here. I didn't know she was in episode 1.
I didn't know Becky was gonna show up this early. Yeah, I thought she was gonna show up in like the fan convention episode for the first time.
Yeah. So I mean, we're just going directly into what you knew about the episode, but I guess this is my what I knew part. But okay, what did you know about the episode before going in?
So I know that Cass comes back at some point. I do think my 501 knowledge is kind of like shaky in that I was like, I know that this handful of things happens in this period, but I don't know which happens when. Like, I think for a second I was like, oh, is the Cass Are You God thing here? But then I was like, no, actually that has to be like at the end of 522 or at the beginning of 601 because Cass had to get exploded by Lucifer for that one. I knew that Meg would come back as Rachel Miner and immediately sexually assault Dean, and he would say, is that peanut butter? I was like, at some point, Joe and Ellen come back during the season, and there's this town full of Reapers, but I don't know if it's this episode. It wasn't this episode. Yeah. You told me that Sam and Dean part ways at the beginning of season 5, so I thought that would have to happen this episode because they're separate in 503 and come back together in 504. But I guess apparently after it's not in this episode. Like, they're just solo for like 1 or 2 episodes max. So that's not
Wait, what do you mean?
Entertaining.
What are you talking about? They break up at the end of this episode.
Well, Dean says, I don't trust you anymore, and Sam stands there sadly. I just assumed that after the cameras ended, Sam still gets into the car. I thought he was just standing there sadly for a bit to process how he was sad. Wait, you're telling me that Dean left Sam without a ride?
No, I was thinking the whole time, like, this is Sam's car too. No, actually, I'm not sure. Now that you mention it like that, I'm not sure if next episode they're gonna be fine and then Dean's gonna do a grand let's not talk to each other anymore. Let's talk once every 6 months like Great Bad Pond recommended. So
I thought you recommended once every 2 months.
Was it one? So it's 6 times a year is what I said.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need to stay consistent on my on my recommendations.
Exactly. Like, the details of policy are important. They change things a lot.
Exactly.
So I guess the only real thing that I remember clearly and correctly is Meg.
Yeah. Cass, you know anything about Cass that happens this episode?
I just knew that he came back, but that's it.
Yeah.
Also, he was here very briefly anyway.
He was here very briefly. You know what? I thought the scene where Dean gets an X-ray was gonna be in this episode. It's not.
No.
So I suppose they are together next episode.
Oh, because they're together when Dean gets an X-ray?
Cass needs to show up. Cass needs to show up and be like, give me the necklace, Dean.
Okay, yeah, because one of my notes that I didn't say is the whole, like, I lied, I blah, 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 and I did it all for you in this episode or later, and it's in 502, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's in a hospital. Because the ceilings and the floors and the gift sets look hospital-like. Yeah.
You messaged me. You watched this episode before me and you messaged me like, that's the Eluriel? And I was giggling, twirling my hair, and I thought it was a reference to the fact that Cass comes in and says, I did everything for you or whatever.
No, that's
But no, it's a different thing. Now. And I was like, that's why I was surprised in the episode when it didn't happen to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess even someone who's watched Supernatural many, many times can't remember everything.
This is true. Sympathy for the Devil. Road So Far, Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
So
not
good.
Really a song I give a shit about. You love it.
Yeah. Did you not?
I mean, it was fine. Okay, tell me what you liked about it. Maybe I will.
It literally goes, "You've been thunderstruck on Sam being killed by lightning."
No, literally, this row so far is pretty long and arduous, and the only thing I love and remember and care to say is that Sam gets struck by lightning, and they show it here, and it's so wonderful.
Also, there's a part where it goes thunder, and then on each syllable, it's like a cut between Cass's wings showing in 401. Is that not fun?
It. It was okay, but I was taken completely by the fact
Pamela
that Sam
scream
falls
and
down.
Anna scream.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really fine. The stuff that they try to establish here is mostly the vessel stuff, right? And like, just in general, that the apocalypse is coming in a theater near you.
Yeah, apocalypse is coming. Cass exists. Chuck exists.
Yeah. You know what's so wonderful? You know what's so wonderful to me? They don't do I'm Castiel, an angel of the Lord in this thing. Okay. They don't introduce Cass. Cass is just already part of the show. Yeah, because when they introduced Zachariah, it was like, I'm Cass's superior. So like, you're already implied to know who Cass is. And that is important to me. Like the fact that Cass is, quote, not in this road so far, or like doesn't have that kind of a central role, it's important to me because it means that he's not like a new character that's being introduced and like a novelty. He's just part of the crowd now.
Yeah, did you notice that in the list of cast coming up at the beginning that Jim Beaver is a guest star, but Misha Collins is just like in the beginning list, even though he has way less time.
Exactly. Cass is so important to me. Anyway, everything's so corny, but I love Castiel so much.
Yeah.
Now we start at the actual episode, and we are at still like where we left off last episode. I don't know. They're just trying to get away, but the door slams shut, and Sam's like, "He's coming. He's here," or whatever. And then everything turns super bright, and there's like so much noise, like just white noise, but also a lot of growling. And it is.
What was the growling about?
Yeah. Was it like a hellhound situation? Like the hellhounds are coming? I don't know. It was fascinating to me that.
Sure.
Oh, not that we see, but we don't ever see hellhounds.
Well, no one
so
can
that
see
don't matter.
them,
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, like, we have the hellhounds here. Well, the hellhound sounding things here. And then the next scene is like on a plane, and then the plane crashes, and it's like, this is the worst day of Dean's life. Like, completely
Sam's also here, and Sam feels guilt about raising Lucifer. How is it the worst day of Dean's life?
Like, completely removed from the fact that Lucifer has just been risen. Like, Dean's having a rough time, you guys.
Oh, because he's scared of planes?
He's scared of the dogs and the plane, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. I still think Sam's having a worse day.
It's a competition, exactly.
Yeah, it is, and Sam's winning.
Yeah. When you think they're going to die, they get transported into a plane, and the way we see it is there's a cartoon of it playing. This is not a cartoon that is real?
It seems like a thing that would be real. I'm looking it up. Yeah, Yosemite Sam is a cartoon character in Looney Tunes.
Oh, well, it's just the devil, and he's talking to some guy, and it's in front of Sam and Dean on the TV screen of the airplane. There's just like, the pilot decides this is the most appropriate time to do an expository intercom message, where he says that they're just passing over Ilchester, and they're gonna descend into Baltimore or whatever the fuck. And Dean's like, Ilchester? Weren't we just there? And they were. And then there's a bright light. The airplane starts whatever doing the thing. Turbulence is what it does. And then, and then, I don't know. Scary. How did they get down that plane? Did they get checked and they were like, why are there 2 extra people here? Is it like in local flights, they don't give a shit, right?
Yeah,
you can just hop on and hop off.
Count how many people exit.
Yeah, I suppose
any flight, because like no one can enter a flight while it's mid-flight.
No, you're right. This is a very French case, yeah.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe, I don't know. It's maybe divine things can happen.
Yeah, if you meet someone in the suitcase, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't see how they get off of that plane properly because they're just in a car.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a rented car. I literally couldn't tell.
I mean, of course it is. Because Bobby's driving the Impala later. And they do a very, very, very intense shot on it. To the point where I was like, was the Impala broken last season? And now they're showing us that it's fixed, just like Sam and Dean and Cass. But no, they were just doing a Chevrolet commercial.
Whatsoever. Huh.
They do, when Bobby steps down, it was like a close-up shot of the Chevrolet and the Impala, and it just stays there on the headlight for so long. And I was like, well, this car's beautiful. I get it.
Maybe Supernatural was trying to get their sponsorship money. They're in this rental car, and the news is going. Apparently, people are wondering if the convent was attacked by terrorists. And then there's a hurricane, and then North Korea has nuclear missiles, and there's earthquakes, and there's swine flu. And the implication is that Lucifer being let out caused the swine flu, I think.
Was there actually swine flu in 2009 United States?
I think that is about the right time when it was, like, in my consciousness. Yes, it was in 2009.
Hell yeah.
So, just as Phantom Traveler said that demons did 9/11, they are now saying that Lucifer did swine flu.
Good lord.
Good lord. Obviously, the environment in this car is tense.
Yeah.
Sam's got his I'm so sad and guilty face on. Dean's got his I'm allergic to emotions. Emotions are the enemy except for anger, but I'm allergic to that too face on. Like, he's the one who demands that Sam changes the radio station because it starts on talking about the bright light coming from the comet, and then eventually they just both shut it off. Sam goes, Dean, look. And Dean just goes, don't say anything. And then he says, it's okay. We just gotta keep our heads down and hash this out, alright? And it doesn't sound that begrudging. Like, it sounds like he is, like, turning over a new leaf and being nice now. Yeah. I guess that is what he's trying to do this episode, but he ends up not being able to.
Well, what I feel about how Dean is reacting to all this doesn't necessarily change per episode, but every single time I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Like,
I mean, it makes sense for Dean's character. Like, yeah, he'll do this. And I understand where he's coming from every single time. I do think this is like Dean is annoying, just fundamentally.
Enough way to go about it.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Like, especially that scene with Bobby. That's the one that I am like, I think we'll get into it when we get into it. But that's the one where I had to take a pause and be like, I'm thinking, I'm having thoughts.
About how Dean should die?
No. Like, just...
Then what?
I mean, it was fascinating to me that, like, Dean has, like, this entire episode prior to that, right, was like, oh, Sam, just shut the fuck up. That's not... And, like, he was very much like, oh, what's it gonna do? And between the two of them, it was like, let's not talk about it because it's not gonna fix anything. But then when it became, like, revealing to Bobby that it was, like, as Sam said, his fault, Dean was like, no, don't tell Bobby. And that was, like, trying to save Sam's face to Bobby, wasn't it? And it is very, I think, like I don't know, I start thinking, like, when it was John and like, you know, when Sam, for example, as a kid, like fucked around and did something that is quote bad. To Dean, it's like, well, I'm mad at you, Sam, that you did that, blah, blah, blah. But it was always probably still like, but let's not tell Dad because he's gonna get mad. And that's and like, so
I don't think when John and Bobby are particularly comparable characters.
Of course, but they do compare them this episode. That's the whole point of what they did with Bobby this episode. Like, I think also about the fact that when John was possessed, he tells Dean, like, great job. And Dean was like, you're possessed because Dad wouldn't say that. And now Bobby is possessed and he tells Sam, like, don't ever call me again and, you know, fuck off forever. And they're like, yeah, that's probably right. And it's like, well, it's not. That's Bobby being possessed. And I do think, like, those are parallels to each other, or they're supposed to take from each other.
Yeah.
And also, like, the way Bobby reacts is supposed to inform us, and the way Dean specifically reacts to Bobby reacting is supposed to inform us about Sam and Dean's dynamic when it's just the two of them versus when there's a higher authority in question, which, I mean, throughout their life, that higher authority was John.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. Sam is... I think there's just, like, a pause where Sam sort of processes this. And I think, like, part of it is, like, gratitude, but part of it is about being denied catharsis, which I think is a feeling that racks up more and more in him throughout this episode.
Yeah, of course.
And then he just goes with, yeah, okay. And then, you know, they say, you know, neither of them know how they ended up on the plane. Maybe it was angels. And Dean goes, well, whatever. It's the least of our worries. We need to find Cass. Hello?
It's Team Free Will. It's Team Free Will. It's Team Free Will. They're already Team Free Will here. You said last episode it's not Team Free Will because Sam's not here.
Yeah.
Well, Sam is here. Cass is not, but
Cass
it's still Team
here,
Free Will.
So it's still not Team Free Will.
Well, they're looking for Cass. Cass is mentioned, so that's Team Free Will to me.
All right.
But
yeah.
is this the scene where you were like, is this Team Real?
No, it's a little bit later.
It's the later one, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is nice that Dean just immediately was like, Cass is one of us now. I mean, he is, but it's nice to see, like, very clearly Dean just being like, oh, and Cass is, like, our side, our team.
Even though he let Sam out of the room in 421. Cass is never gonna tell Dean that happened. That is not gonna come up ever.
Like, post-canon, you're gonna get together, and then, like, one thing, Cass lets slip that this happens, and then they break up forever and ever.
For fucking real. I guess another thing that I wonder if it comes into Sam and Dean's dynamic at all is, like, the voicemail. Because I know that, like, the show forgets about it. But, like, I think
I
Dean...
don't. And Dean doesn't.
like, I didn't. And, like, okay, I think on Dean's side, I think that it is heightening his anger that Sam, like, ended up killing Lilith. Because he's like, I left this really nice voicemail telling him to come back and, like, we would figure this out together. And then he ignored it and killed Lilith anyway. And then for Sam, it's like, Dean literally said that he was gonna find me and kill me if he ever saw me again.
Yeah.
Like, this is quite bad. And, like, well, yeah, I think that a lot of the we need to talk about this, like, and trying to apologize is, like, yeah, it's heightened by the, like, I need to know where we stand because that voicemail implied that, like, we stand really, really, like, far apart, and also I could be in literal physical danger if Dean was that mad. Like, I don't know. So, like, yeah, it is definitely a situation.
Like, to Sam, it's like, I want to know where we stand because in the voicemail, whatever, you said that. And to Dean, it's the perspective of, well, I know where we stand because I left that awfully nice voicemail and you ignored it. And so I understand now what your perspective is, and that, and you know, later when he was like, you chose Ruby over me. And like to Sam, it's probably like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
But to Dean, it's a very clear line of like, I asked you to come back and that we would fix it and everything, and you still did not give a shit.
Well,
So
maybe there were no bars.
there were, but like, what if Dean? What if he like literally just did not hear it? Like, literally,
Like, what if his
there
phone
were
got
literally-
smashed up?
Yeah, like what if the voicemail did not ascend? Like, what if AT&T failed so miserably at their job of, I don't know. Like, what if Crowley went in and all of the USA phone lines went down? Who knows?
Yeah. Why would Crowley be in the U.S. in 2009?
In 2009?
What is she up to?
Vacation.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I don't think, does anyone go to the United States to vacation? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just go somewhere else. Is that so mean? I'm so sorry, Americans.
No, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I think that if people need to get tourist industry, like, better for it to be the U.S. than elsewhere. Unless
true,
it's
this is
Hawaii,
true.
in which case, stop it. But yeah. Anyway, also to be clear to the audience, we are saying Crowley, not Crowley. This is a Good Omens podcast.
That's a reference to Crowley's Good Omens.
So they head over to Chuck's, where Cass was last spotted. Honestly, I'm surprised that Dean thought that Cass was still alive. Like, Cass's last words were clearly like I will die here.
I'll hold them all off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wishful thinking, I suppose. And also, it's a very stressful situation. Like, I'm sure all of that is just blended together.
It's just like, we have to find all the allies that we can right now.
Yeah.
So, they're there, and there's broken glass and blood all over the floor.
This is such a funny as fuck scene. Is Chuck so funny? I think Chuck is so funny.
Really so funny. Because as they're walking around looking at all this destruction, Chuck comes out and then whacks Sam with a fucking toilet plunger. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Sam's just standing there holding his head. It's so funny.
I think they succeeded with Chuck. I feel like they're trying to do the same thing with Chuck that they tried to do with the Ghost Facers, like with Ed and Harry, where they're like,
silly
this is like some nerdy, weak guy that you should all point and laugh at. But like, I think for Chuck, it's slightly offset by the fact that like he's a prophet and later God, and also the fact that as like
he
the
is
writer
actually
of the
useful to
Supernatural
them.
books, he's useful to them, and he's also clearly like sort of like the writers making fun of themselves a little bit.
Yeah, instead
like,
of making fun of some other person.
Yeah, like Ghostfacers felt like making fun of fans and
a certain archetype.
making fun of themselves.
Us. Yeah.
So
Us as in the writers, not me, the fan. Why do I keep on... Every time I say anything about 81, I do take the first perspective immediately. But anyway, I think Chuck is just... I think maybe the actor is just good with the comedic timing also.
Yeah,
like,
that could be it.
Yeah. I don't know. Chuck is... I still hold on to my very firm belief that I mentioned in 418 that they should just put Chuck in the backseat of that fucking car. Yeah. And they should just hunt with a third, and the third is Chuck.
I agree.
I still firmly believe this. I think it will bring a lot of fun to the show.
Yeah. I don't think Chuck would be particularly into it, though.
Yeah, he'll hate it for everything, but...
Yeah.
And in season 11, he still is revealed to be God. Like, nothing changed.
Oh, yeah.
But now he has spent the entire time in the backseat of the
God in the Backseat is like an album title to me, I think.
For real.
So, Sam's holding his head out of pain, and Chuck goes kind of breathlessly like, Sam.
It's Sam.
And, like, Dean goes, "Hey, Chuck," and Chuck completely ignores him and says, like, to Sam very earnestly, like, very worried, like, "So, you're okay?" And at this point, I do write down, is Chuck/Sam, like, a thing?
He'd the gal about Dean.
Yeah, he truly did gaff about Dean. Ugh, I think Chuck/Sam should be a thing if it isn't already. I think I've seen it, like, once.
I mean, it definitely is due to Chuck is God. But, like, we're not talking about Chuck is God. We're talking about Chuck here.
Just
Sam
just a
here.
silly little guy.
Yeah. Sam says, "Well, my head hurts."
Yeah.
He's also so funny this episode.
Yeah, maybe Sam is funny. Maybe Chuck and Sam make each other better through making each other funnier.
They're both kind of killjoys, and that is important to me.
Chuck goes like, "No, I mean, like, in my last vision, your body temperature went to 150, your heart rate went to 200, and your eyes were black. Why are you thinking about another man's heart and eyes, Chuck?"
And temperature, even.
Yeah. You think he was hot? You think he was smoking? But
what the fuck is a 150 temperature? Let me convert that shit.
So I think 98 is supposed to be like what is healthy.
My God, he should be dead. I mean, he should be dead for other reasons also, but
yeah,
that's to the Celsius speaking audience. Celsius speaking, whatever. It's 65.5 degrees Celsius. That's crazy.
Ouch. Dean, who is very annoying and who I don't like as a person,
hell yeah,
goes, "Your eyes went black?" Like, that is not what I am focused on, Dean. I'm focused on the other parts, but okay. And Sam, like, looks back at Dean and he goes, "I didn't know." And he looks so sad. He looks so guilty. I guess it's like, it feels like a proper physical confirmation that drinking the demon blood really did turn him into a demon of some kind. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess this would be pretty devastating to hear about. Dean asks about Cass, but Chuck says that he's dead or gone because the Archangel smote the crap out of him. Hell yeah, I love wording. And Dean is still in denial. He's like, maybe he just like vanished into the light. Yeah. But Chuck goes, "No, he exploded." Like a water balloon of chunky soup is the way
just
he
like
puts
Cass
it.
in season 14, like a melon under the sun.
For real. And Sam points out that there's something behind Chuck's ear, but he does not do the rom-com move of like, no, I've got it, and then getting it out of his hair.
That's the reason why Chuck. That's the reason why Chuck reached into the wrong side, because he was like, maybe Sam will reach into my hair instead.
Yeah, help me. But yeah, it's Cass is
pull the ball out of my hair
now.
Exactly.
I love it. Fun. It's great.
And he goes, "Do I have a baller in the hair? This has been a really stressful day."
Oh, it's
wonderful.
It's wonderful. Yeah, someone is on a fucking Destiel agenda because first off,
Eric Kripke.
Eric Kripke and Robert Singer, because earlier when Chuck said that like Cass was smote, like it cuts just directly to Dean's face, like just him.
Yeah.
And
I've been saying Robert Singer has been here for us this whole time.
The reason that he quit like doing producing and directing after Supernatural is that he achieved his life's goal of Destieling.
He was like, I was able to tell the Destiel story, and that's all that matters to me.
God. At the tooth, Dean goes, "Cass, you stupid bastard." And yeah, like, maybe Destiel is real, you guys. I'm sorry for anything I've said earlier. Maybe it's real.
This is so funny to me because like this doesn't even faze me at all. I see this and I'm like, whatever. I mean, yeah. I'm surprised that this is what does it in for you.
I think it's that I've mostly viewed Dean and Cass's relationship through season 4 as like Dean mostly prizes Cass as like an ally or someone who can do things for him. Yeah. So like a sentence here that's like he literally told Cass like, you know, like the world is going to like end or whatever, but like we have to stop it and like it's worth dying for. And then now that Cass has died for it, he's like, you should have saved yourself. Like shows like a level of caring about Cass as like an individual like soul that he wants to continue going on in its immortal life. Like that does change how I think about their season 4 relationship.
Yeah, because he could have easily been like, well, he died for a cause. You know, he died for something.
And I think the thing
but
is
the thing is, it's also because they failed.
Sam in time, I think he would have been like, well, like Cass, like he fought bravely and he died for a good cause. I do think a lot of it is just that it didn't even work. But
it's just that, like, next episode, Cass will say, like, I did everything for you and you failed. You and your brother destroyed the world, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So,
I think personally blame the angels for most of it, but whatever you say, Cass.
Cass is going through it. Leave him alone.
Yeah, he's going through it. It's been a really stressful day.
It's been a really stressful day. Well,
so, right. And, like, you know, Sam, like, hears the Cass, you stupid bastard. And he goes, like, stupid? He was trying to help us, like, trying to defend his man's honor. But, yeah. Dean just goes, yeah, exactly. And, you know, next steps, they don't really know what to do, but Chuck senses that the angels are coming, and Zachariah shows up, and he tells Dean that he should come with him. There's, like, these 2 rando henchmen angels in the background wearing, like, black suits matching Zachariah's, and they're, like, so nothing.
Yeah, their only purpose here is to make Cass look hot later while he kills them. No, really, though.
Yeah, no, actually, I do have a note at this point where it's, like, I feel like seeing these 3 angels together in their black suits, like, really makes me appreciate Cass's outfit. And it's the fact that, like, under the trench coat, he's just wearing a regular, boring black suit like all the other angels are.
But he chooses to wear that trench coat.
He chose to keep that trench coat that was, like, put on by, like, the man whose body he's possessing, whose life he destroyed, like, wanting to, like, stay safe in the cold, even though he knew that, like, an angel would prevent him from being cold in the future. It's very much, it's just, like, a fun little extra thing that makes him look more vulny and cute than the other
angels. Fundamentally, Cass works as a character because he's cute and vulny. Like, honestly.
Yeah, it's just it gives him a completely different vibe than just like wearing a black suit. Like he's not like corporate.
Yeah. Though, especially it becomes more and more obvious the more we are introduced to the angels, because the angel attire is corporate, and then you just have Cass who is in this fuck all trench coat. Also, like,
though they style female angels so far as like doing a completely different thing than the male angels, but I know later Naomi's in her gray suit, and like all the angels are in their gray suits, right?
Yeah. You're talking about Anna, right? But Anna is different. The way Cass is different. I'm talking about
the white nightgown, the woman who, at the opening of 416.
I don't know what the fuck they were doing with that, but all the other women they introduced later are like Hannah is.
She's in a gray suit.
Corporate, Naomi's corporate. That girl who's defending Cass, the angel who defends Cass in season 6, also in a suit. Yeah, stuff like that.
So he tells Dean to come with him, and Dean's just upset and wants him to stay away because of how the angels started the apocalypse. And Zachariah's like, hey, it wasn't me, right, Sam? Just as a fun little guilt trip. And then he decides Zachariah. Yeah.
I mean, we always say, like, should have been Uriel, and it literally should have been.
Yeah. Uriel's not even in the, road so far of season 4, is he? Like, I was looking out for him, and I didn't see him. Oh.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
When will Zachariah die?
Season 5, I assume?
I mean, I assume too, but I hope he does soon.
Yeah. He has to be in Dark Side of the Moon, and then I don't remember him being mentioned as being in any other ep. And then he's like, I will also guilt trip Dean through the weirdest way, where he goes, you had a chance to stop your brother, and you couldn't. And I'm a big fan of the way he words it, because, you were actively preventing Dean from having the chance, but now he's I was kind enough to get Angel sigiled away so that you could stop Sam, and look at what you've done. It's fun. A Robert Singer sin to me is that during, both of these lines that Zachariah names, it's on Dean's face, even on, the right Sam, the camera is on Dean's stupid fucking face, literally he was talking to Sam, that was about Sam, this is about Sam's guilt. Shouldn't we be centering, his guilt and his feelings about Ruby's betrayal, and that, everything he was working towards and hurting himself over for the last season actually ended the world? Shouldn't that be a central part of the camera work this episode? But I guess not.
Yeah. Nobody ever give a shit about Sam in the camera work. He's too tall.
Actually,
I wonder to set up the camera.
Because, behind the scenes, right, part of why Sam never drives is because Jared Padalecki didn't want to learn how to drive stick shift, right? Is the reason why the camera hates Sam true? Also because Jared Padalecki's too fucking tall? Is it all that man's fault that Sam doesn't have the right writing and, cinematography?
I think it's because they had to move the camera. It was difficult, probably. The camera setup was harder.
Sam's only 3 inches taller than Dean, right? Or is it 5 inches?
The look is gonna be different.
Okay. Yeah. Downwards, facing up angle on all Sam face.
If Sam was shorter, we would have gotten a Sam reaction shot when Ruby was stabbed.
This is so true. If Sam was shorter, we'd have Canon Sastiel at this point. And at this point, I mean 501.
Yeah.
But yeah, alas. So, yeah, Zachariah's okay, what? Let's just not have an argument about who started what. Whatever. That's in the past. Let's move on, because currently the apocalypse is happening, and we're on the same team. Because we all want to kill Lucifer. And Dean is just I don't trust you, go the fuck away, I hate you. And Zachariah mentions that Lucifer is really powerful and that we have to try to kill him before he finds his vessel. And Sam is the one who asks his vessel, Lucifer needs a meat suit. Oh, Sam, the things that you do not know that you will soon know, and that will be sad. Zachariah is well, he's an angel, them's the rules. And he describes how the apocalypse will involve, the 4 horsemen and the skies burning, and that Dean will need the angels' help to stop him. Dean's just he calls him a two-faced douche and says that he doesn't want jack squat from him, blah, blah, blah. And Zachariah goes you listen to me, boy. You think you can rebel against us as Lucifer did? You are not Uriel. Stop trying to do a simile that's boring. And
yeah.
then he notices that Dean's hand is bleeding, and Dean's like, oh yeah, like, we had a plan for in case you dicks showed up. And then, like, he moves a door to show that there is, like, the angel banishing sigil drawn on it. And then he slaps it, and the 3 angels are all gone. And then Dean goes, learned that from my friend Cass, you son of a bitch. Maybe love, like, is real. Maybe it's, like, a little bit real. I will admit this.
I cannot believe this is the thing for you. So much happened last season, and this is the thing for you.
I think it's that I was quite surprised the level at which they allowed Dean to mourn Cass so early on in their relationship.
You know, but the thing is, I was thinking here, like, look at him now. He's just like, oh, damn it, Cass is dead. And, like, in season 13, he will wrap his body on the fucking morning light in the kitchen. And, like, for me, the like, oh, it's like how, like, here, Cass is dead, and Dean's like, ugh. But in the future, it will mean so much more than that. And so the fact that you're like, and oh my god, they're in love right now is like crazy to me.
I mean, I guess I don't really view this like as a, Cass is dead, oh well. I think it's like it makes it seem like part of why Dean is angry at Zachariah and part of why he banishes them is like a revenge thing for Cass's death, which I think feels like a lot. And, like, in some ways, this isn't that big of a deal for Dean, given that, like, they have him mourn Pamela, like, basically just as hard, even though, like, they barely knew each other.
That he just let go.
Yeah. That's true. So, like, Dean sort of just
this is Dean's new best friend that he just let go.
He gets attached to people after they die. Like, that just seems like a Dean thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, he calls Cass his friend. Like, has he done that before?
With Cass or with anyone? I don't think he's done it with anyone, honestly.
He hasn't called anyone his friend?
Yeah. Has
really?
he?
I'm sure.
He calls his hunting buddies his buddies.
Okay, I'm gonna check the Sin City transcript.
Maybe I'm completely lying.
Says when he gets Casey in the basement, he goes, Richie was a friend of mine.
Slay.
So he calls people his friends. But I don't know if he's called Cass his friend before this.
He hasn't called Cass his friend, no.
Yeah. So yeah,
but they are friends. Or they were, and now Cass is back alive and he's kind of scared of him again.
Yeah.
Or is he? I mean, in episode 3, they do go on that wonderful date.
That's gonna be an interesting episode to go.
It is. It's gonna be.
Because I know that it's a popular Destiel episode, but I also know that textually Dean's literally just using Cass as a Sam substitute for a day. So.
No, I do think there is the aspect of this, like, Sam's substitute for a day. It could have been interesting if the show actually takes that somewhere. I feel like in the moment the episode is like, but like the bigger context of the show where it's like, oh, whatever. But I think it is important to me, or maybe not. Let's see when we discuss it.
Yeah, we'll see in 2 weeks. After Dean delivers his line, Chuck, just standing there, goes, "This sucks ass." He's so funny. He is pretty
funny. Delightful. Sam and Dean at a motel. Sam comes in, hands a little hex bag, and he's like, "Oh, here's a hex bag. It's gonna hide us from everyone." And Dean's like, "Oh, where did you get it?" And Sam hesitates and goes, "I made it." And Dean's like, "How?" And hesitates even more. Ugh. Sam goes, "I learned it from Ruby."
I care deeply.
Yeah.
I hate that the way that this is played is that Sam's hesitation is just that he doesn't know how Dean will react to the mention of Ruby. Like, what about Sam's relationship to Ruby? Okay, you feel like it was different?
Yeah, I mean, like, Sam has complicated feelings for Ruby, of course, just fundamentally. And I think this is, like, coming from that. I don't think it's, like, because Dean will react negatively, but more of, I am now aware that Ruby was, you know, not the positive force that I thought she was the entire time. And bringing something that I learned from that here must feel like something. And I think Sam is trying to, that is what Sam is feeling here.
Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. I don't know, I feel like the camera work spent too much time cutting to Dean.
I mean, a part of it is also probably like, well, Dean is right about Ruby.
I don't know. I don't know. It, to me, it just felt so much like Sam still looking for forgiveness from Dean, and like everything surrounding the apocalypse is a sensitive topic. But like,
oh, of course
I don't know.
is.
Like, I guess, yeah. I don't know what it was about the camera work that made it, or the acting, a combination of the two that made it so much like none of it was about Sam's feelings about Ruby. But like, I think that Sam should be.
I think what it could be was that when he hesitates, but when he says, I learned it from Ruby, he like says it like trying to be casual in a way. And like, that could be like where you're coming from, that like, it was just about the telling Dean, it wasn't about what was being said. But I can see that. I can also see it the way I saw it, which is
Yeah. I think that probably Sam internally, like, he, like, every time he remembers a new thing about Ruby or the way that she affected his life in the last 2 years, he does also probably get that shock of, oh, and like all of that was with an agenda. So he's like, she taught me this really helpful thing that we're going to use to protect ourselves right now.
Yeah.
But like, what was that for? What was her larger plan with that? Why did she do that? And that is a difficult thing to be going through. I'm sure sometimes he like forgets about the betrayal. I'm sure that they have like some positive memories together, and sometimes he's like, oh, that reminds me of this thing that Ruby said. Oh, wait.
No, like, I mean, the part of it is that Ruby did care about Sam. Mm-hmm. And like, that's true. It's just the source of that caring is what changed. And so Sam could be like, oh, and Ruby like took care of this and that for me, and she cared about me. And then it's always followed that with because.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just like, because she cared about me. It's because she was trying to do this and that also. And that must suck because it's not like you can be like, and she was trying to trick me the whole time. And like, she was, but also the things she was doing was true. She was protecting Sam from whichever, whatever. She, you know,
she
and
was
all that
the girl
crap.
who saved his ass. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was that. And she also like genuinely made this hex bag for Sam and taught him how to do it. And those are things that come from a place of caring. It's just, as Ruby said, like at the end of that episode, right? Like, like, oh, so one day you'll understand. And like, because she views this as like a good thing, actually. And that's the like, difference.
All of it's out of protecting Sam or whatever, but it is like a Sam, parentheses, guy who raises Lucifer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes me emo that the hex bags also hide you from demons. And it feels quite paralleled to Cass being like, oh, and these sigils will hide you from angels, including me. Yeah.
Is that still real?
But yeah. So,
I know you hate that fucking rib sting because Sam also got the rib sting.
He did. He did. He did.
I know. Well,
at this mention of Ruby, Dean puts his gun down and says, speaking of, how are you doing? And I was like, oh, like, it's nice that we're finally gonna talk about how Sam and Ruby had a complicated relationship and how her betrayal probably hurt him, and she was, like, the only one who was there for him and, like, kept him from, like, not killing himself during the months Dean was away. But no, his next line is, are you jonesing for another hit of bitch blood or what? What if Dean Winchester died? And he does. Thanks, Jenny.
God.
Yeah. Like, there are just a lot more, like, things to be asking Sam about if he's okay about, other than, should I tie you down again? Which feels like what this is, basically. It's not good. I don't like it.
And also, like, the fact that the next scene is Sam, Dean, and Bobby, and I cannot imagine Sam sitting there and being like, and this is fine. And...
yeah.
like, the way the show interfaces with it as not being fine is so different than the way I think it should not be fine.
Yeah, it's all like Dean and Bobby are so nice for even thinking about forgiving Sam. Like, actually, I think other way around.
Like, the way that they portray it as like, Bobby, I cannot hold it in any longer, you're right. And it's like... what is this?
Like, what is happening? And I don't know, Sam's like a guy who feels guilt and hates himself a lot, so I guess it's not out of character, but it's just the fact that Supernatural, the show, also thinks that, like, this is the right, like no, Dean and Bobby were 100% in the right, Sam sucks, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, that's the
You said this earlier to me, right? Like, has anyone in this show ever compromised? Like, do they know what complexity is? Like, it can be true that Sam feels guilty.
We should keep, like, a fucking running tally of every argument in Supernatural and see if any of them are resolved with there are merits to both sides.
Yeah, like, Sam could be guilty and could be the whole time thinking, they were right and I was wrong, whatever. And also be scared of Bobby and Dean. Like, those things can be true both at the same time. And the fact that, like, they completely removed that Sam is afraid of these people who enacted such, like, violence against him.
Yeah.
And just turn it into, he feels bad about it. And we can justify that he doesn't feel scared because he feels bad. And it's like, honestly, I think those things, like, have the ability to enhance and exemplify each other. Like, I don't know. It's weird as fuck.
Oh, God, it's so annoying that all of season 4 is Dean being like, Sam, you're wrong and I'm right. And then in the end, it's like, Dean was right and Sam was wrong. And, like, now season 4 is just the season where Sam was wrong the whole time and you're supposed to think he's stupid the whole time. Like, that's just not an interesting thing to do with television. I don't know why they thought that was the writing choice to be made. Whatever. Supernatural was written by the Supernatural writers. We all must remember this constantly. Yeah, Sam says, like, no, like, I don't feel any, like, withdrawal symptoms or anything. It feels like whoever put me on that plane cleaned me right up. And Dean says supernatural methadone, which, like, so Dean, like, you're aware of medication assisted, like, withdrawal and recovery. Like, you know about this? Interesting, Dean Winchester. Sam is looking all sad again, and he's, like, trying again to do his apology. And between all of his words, the camera keeps cutting to Dean's face, like, it seems like a little bit closer each time, like it's like we're waiting for Dean to explode. So Sam goes, Dean, and like Dean says Sam and turns away and says, it's okay, you don't have to say anything. And Sam goes, well,
Sam's so good. Annoying this scene though, so like I get it.
Like Sam is being annoying?
Yeah, just shut the fuck up, bro.
I think that there are ways in which he is annoying, but I understand where he is coming from. Like, yeah, there's definitely the sense of, like, he rehearsed this on the car in his mind.
No, I think it's just, for me, like, you know, the whole, like, oh, what can I even say? Like, I'm sorry, like, whatever. It doesn't do it justice. Like, then why are you, like Dean said, then why are you bringing it up? Like, just say, I'm sorry, or I screwed up, and whether it can do anything or nothing, at least you said it. Which is what Sam is trying to do anyway. Like, he's trying to get absolution is, I think, what's happening. He's trying to gauge, as you said, whether they're fine or not. And he also, I think, wants to hear from Dean, like, no, Sam, it's all right. But,
I don't think he thinks that Dean is gonna say that. I think he just wants to know where they stand and if he's gonna get yelled at or punched. Like, he just wants it to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, but, I mean, just, I don't know, like, for me, just like, oh, nothing I can do can fix anything, then don't do anything, just shut the fuck up. I'm completely on Dean's side in this exact moment. Like, just shut up.
I mean, yeah, like, would it be more helpful if Sam didn't say this sentence? Probably, but, like,
yeah,
it's fine that he did.
I mean, it's probably fine, but, like, I also completely understand Dean's, like, just shut up.
Yeah, Sam goes, well, that's good, because what can I even say? I'm sorry. I screwed up. Doesn't really do it justice, you know? Look, there's nothing I can do or say that will ever make this right. And yeah, Dean does explode a bit, where he goes, so why do you keep bringing it up?
The thing about Sam and Dean is, like, they need to stay together right now. And, like, that is the main issue. Because if this was, like, any other situation, the solution is literally just leave. Like, just be apart. And then when the feelings are not running as high, or, you know, when time has passed, then maybe you can breach the conversation again. But because they're forced to be here together, I think the solution really is to just not talk about it. Do you understand what I mean? Do I need to go to therapy?
I think I understand what you mean. I think for Sam mostly it's just that, like, he's done this thing and he doesn't, like, Dean's saying, like, okay, be normal, don't think about it. And, like, I don't think Sam's capable of being normal and not thinking about it. So he's just trying to push this towards some kind of a resolution. And I think I understand that instinct, and I also understand the let's not talk about it instinct. I think they just both have different needs right now, and I think that is fine.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think the main perspective I have is just, like, who is it actually helping? And Sam is making it seem like, oh, this is for Dean. And, like, you know, with the Bobby thing too, it's like, it's for Bobby, for Bobby's knowledge. But really, it's for Sam. And I think that's what Dean is trying to say here also. Like, why do you keep bringing it up? And the answer to that is because it's for Sam.
Let's not talk about it is for Dean.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, so, like both of them just want, like, the thing that makes them feel better to happen.
Yeah, but Sam is painting it like this will benefit Dean, or this will benefit Bobby to know these things.
Painting his "let's not talk about it" as, aren't I such a forgiving, cool older brother?
No, he's not. He's mad when he says it.
No, I mean earlier in the car when he goes,
oh yeah,
it's
in the
okay,
car.
Let's just focus
and
on,
in the
like,
car.
I think he is being like, look at how cool and understanding I am. Does seem like,
but I do think in the car it was for the both of them. Like, let's just not talk about it because there was bigger fish to fry in that moment. But
I think that if Sam's the one trying to initiate an apology, clearly, like, the thing that Sam wants is to talk about it. So you can't say that it's for both of you if you're going against what Sam's trying to create in the moment.
That's true. I think whatever Sam wants from Dean can't give it. And that's what he says at the end of the episode. And so it's like, you want this from me and I just cannot give it. So just don't ask for it. Is unappropriate thing for Dean to want and think. Like,
I agree.
Like, it's better for me to get what I want and you to get kind of not what you want, versus both of us are just miserable. You know?
Yeah. I think that, this whole Sam and Dean and the trying to get forgiveness or ignore it thing is pretty... It reminds me of, like, an episode in season 1 of Feel Good. You said you've heard of Feel Good. Have you watched any of Feel Good?
I don't think I've heard of Feel Good. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's Mae Martin's show, like,
okay.
semi-autobiographical. Yeah. So, like, there's, like, an episode... So, the main character, who's, like, also named May, is a member of Narcotics Anonymous, and they're at the make amends step of recovery. And, like, the issue is, like... Their parents kicked them out of the house when they were 15 because, like, they were using drugs and also selling drugs out of the house and stuff like that. So they were, like, homeless for some of their teenagehood because of that. But, like, I guess they also did do things that hurt their parents during that time. And, like, they don't really want to do the make amends step. But then someone in the group is like, oh, like, I said sorry to, like, my daughter the other day, like, I did my make amends step, and then she apologized to me for shutting me out so much, and then May's immediately like, actually, yes, I'm gonna go apologize to my parents right now.
So they can apologize to me.
Yeah, and I do think that, I don't think that's exactly what Sam's doing here, but in terms of, like, what we said about how, like, Dean and Bobby did some, like, really awful things to him. I think it's that, like, there are things that Dean needs to apologize for, but because the starting the apocalypse thing is so big, that, like, they can never talk about that until they get past this first thing. I do think that, like, part of what Sam's doing is
opening the
like,
door.
Okay, like, yeah, if we open the door, like... to like if we like try to resolve the apocalypse thing a little bit, then that's opening the door for like us discussing the rest of what has happened at the end of season 4 and like growing from that in some way. Which I think
it's too
soon.
It's too soon.
It is too soon.
It just happened.
I think it is too soon.
That's why they need time away from each other. 2 months, you guys. Just meet up again in 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. I agree. But, like, I understand that instinct. Because, like, so many things have happened. A lot of things have happened to Sam. And, like, I think he's highly uncomfortable and, like, itchy and guilty. And he just wants it all out with. But, you know, I feel like for Dean right now, it's like, I literally can't stay with you and think of you as my brother who I love unless I completely compartmentalize that you're responsible for the apocalypse. So, like, now they're stuck in this place where Sam has to trail behind him forever with a sad, remorseful face while Dean clenches his jaw. And that's just sort of what their life has to be. Unless they separate, which they eventually do, which I'm glad to hear of.
Yeah. I do think their dynamic changes sometime later in the show. Around season 14.
God!
What a miserable timeline. No, it evolves. But I do think by the time season 14
30
comes,
or some shit. Like, this podcast is not released regularly.
We're gonna be 2 Philippine presidents removed from when we're discussing season 14. Oh, God.
But yeah, okay, in season 14, their dynamic changed slightly.
Like,
great.
No, it evolves throughout the show, and by the time it's season 14, I do think it's kind of unrecognizable from this already. Okay. So, that's something.
Okay. That's good, I think, unless it's worse.
Unless
it's worse?
In which, I don't know, we'll find out.
Oh, I guess we'll find out.
In 2 presidential terms.
In 2 presidential terms.
I mean, that's probably not true. Is that true? Maybe just 1.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, unless we oust this one soon.
Yeah. Oh, also the rest of the Feel Good episode is really good and complex. I just named the part of it that was funny that was related to Supernatural. Everyone watch Feel Good. Okay, but anyway. Right, after Dean does the whole yelly thing. He turns back to Sam and goes like, look, all I'm saying is, why do we have to put this under a microscope? We made a mess. We clean it up. That's it. And he is putting himself in the equation, which I guess is nice, though I think it is because he genuinely blames himself for not stopping Sam.
Yeah.
Which, like, what I think all of this is stupid and it's all the angel's fault, but whatevs.
Yeah. I mean, I do think this episode lends Dean more complexity than we have seen in the last half of season 4. Like the last half of the last half, yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like it. I'm able to think of Dean and not be just annoyed the whole time.
Yeah, I think I am also. Have I been nicer to Dean this episode than usual?
Oh yeah, you have been.
Yeah,
I mean, you could have easily been like, "Oh, shut the fuck up, Gray," which I think there are times in the podcast where you wanted to do, but yeah.
So they decide that they're just gonna act like this is a normal hunt and try to find the devil.
Well, Mark Pellegrino's here. It's the worst thing that has ever happened.
I found Nick like an okay character this episode. I think
Nick is an okay character.
I don't know that much about Mark P, so I'm
no.
able to look at his face without throwing up.
Nick is a fine character. Lucifer is a fine character, especially this season. It's just, it's more of an overstaying your welcome situation. Like Nick, in whatever fucking season they do the Lucifer Nick thing, is extra annoying. Because it's like, we don't care about this guy anymore. Just get rid of the guy. Like, just kill the... I don't know. The vessel's supposed to be... Why is the vessel not dead? And it's that kind of feeling of like... I understand that sometimes horrible people are in TV shows. God knows I understand it. But, like, it's just... There's no reason for Mark Pellegrino to have been in Supernatural as long as he was. Especially because Supernatural is a show that does the whole convention shebang. It feels even more egregious to me.
Because it forces Mark Pellegrino to be at conventions?
Well, because he is. I don't think it forces him. I'm sure they make a lot of money out of that. But, like...
it forces Mark Pellegrino to inflict himself upon convention goers.
No, it's like, I think it's more of the...
excuse for him to be more of a public figure and continue making money.
Yeah, and also, like, it's just when especially Supernatural has such a weird thing going on with its fan base.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the exploitative nature of the everything. But, like, specifically with this one, you are putting your fans in the same room as this guy. And it just feels egregious to me. We are going to, throughout this episode, follow a man named Nick. And he's sad. He's lonely. He's alone all the time. Later on, we find out that it's because his family was killed.
Yeah.
So
I just thought his wife died in childbirth or something. So, like, later when it was like, oh, like, that man broke into your home and slaughtered your family, I was booing a lot. Because I feel like your wife dying in childbirth is, like... It's like a common enough, like, really, like, shitty thing that happens that can make you, like, doubt God or whatever. And, like, it isn't a direct fucking parallel to John Winchester.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But then they made it into a whole thing, and that was annoying. Yeah.
It's revealed in season something whatever that he actually killed his wife and kid, I think.
Like Nick did or Lucifer did?
I'm not sure.
Those are very different situations.
No, the plot of his time there was like he's looking for who killed his wife and kid. And then I think at some point it was either revealed that he did it or that Lucifer did it.
What? Those are very... What do you mean? Like he forgot?
But the whole point is that it don't matter because he still wants to get back together with Lucifer.
He what?
He wants to get back together with Lucifer.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it must mean that he did it, right? In order to escape the guilt of it. So, like...
No. He, like, forgot. So he's looking for who killed his wife and kids. He finds a guy, tortures the guy, etc. But eventually, I don't know. I think it's revealed that it's not actually the guy, it's him. Or it's some guy who was possessed by Lucifer.
Okay. Well, and once we're 35 years old, we'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, God. So, I don't know. He, like, is sleeping on the bed. And then he wakes up and he raises his hands. It's bloody. And his entire body is bloody. He takes off the blanket.
And
it's just
before
blood.
that, there
It's
was, like, a
actually...
bunch of wind rattling the gates of his house in the night. It is quite creepy, like, all of it.
That thing was crazy. The blood on the bedsheet. Insane. I love it. It is a good moment.
Yeah.
And then he gets out of the bed, turns on his lamp, and it's clean. No blood. And he's just like, okay, let's get it together. Let's get it together. And also when he lies down, his wife, Sarah, is over on his side and bloody. And she says, it's you, Nick. You're special. You're chosen. Oh, God. We end it. This episode is just scene after scene that annoys me to hell and back. Or is it?
Eric
it is.
Kripke and women are a bad combination.
Yeah. We go to... Is this a hotel room or is this just her house?
I think that's just her bedroom.
I suppose it must be her house.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about Becky is that, like, I think when Danica was watching Supernatural and I was like, oh yeah, don't Chuck and Becky, like, get together? She was like, what do you mean? Becky's, like, a kid. Becky's a teenager. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure she's, like, an adult woman. So. But, like, now that I watched this episode, I can fully see why you would interpret her as, like, a teenager.
Why?
Like, I think she calls him, like, Mr. Edlund. Her bedroom's very pink. Like, they cast, like, full adults to play teenagers in Supernatural all the time. Like, I would, like, fully believe that her parents are downstairs right now and, like, she's gonna take the SAT next week.
Let's say somebody, a fucking stranger who is also a writer that, you know, calls you. You don't call him Mr. Edlund?
No.
That's great. Why? You just, what do you call him?
Like, you just,
if Neil Gaiman calls you right now, will you not say hello, Mr. Gaiman?
I would call him Neil Gaiman.
Well, I think that's incredibly rude. Maybe that's on you.
I think first name culture is a lot bigger in the US.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like I would call, like, my CEO John.
That's crazy. Yeah, you also don't call any of your profs, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's like Jessica or whatever. That's Anne-Marie.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe for, like, an American or, like, a first name culture society, this is, like, a teenage whatever. But it's not, though. Is it?
I know she's an adult woman, but, like, I feel
you
like
can understand
in this
the perspective.
Episode, I would, if I didn't know anything about her later plot, I think that I'd be like, I don't know, she's, like, a college student, maybe younger.
There is, like, an episode that they do, like, the last time she's there, where they're like, and this is their apology to the audience.
Yeah, like, she's married and she has 2 kids.
It's in season 15, right?
Yeah, it's Atomic Monsters.
And she's normal, but she has a 17 Funko Pop or whatever. Truly a fucking show. She is writing fanfiction. It's so horrible.
I don't understand why anything happens the way that it happens, but especially not on Supernatural.
Yeah. she's writing fanfiction, specifically like Sam/Dean fanfiction. Yeah. Horrible. Supernatural, what is it with their like fascination that the audience is fascinated by this?
Yeah, I don't like, I feel like there are ways to interpret this as just like, we're trying to tell the Wincesties to knock it off. I think that is probably part of it.
No, it's definitely
that, like, I think that, like, engaging in this way just makes people go, teehee, just like me for real, and then ignore the knock it off part.
No. I mean, like, as was implied by they fixed Becky later as an apology. Like, this is insulting, isn't it? It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to mock your audience. And it's just...
I mean,
Supernatural
like,
loves
subset of
to
the
mock
audience
their
I understand mocking. But yeah, I just feel like you just don't need to engage.
Also, Supernatural, I think, thinks its audience is all Wincest shippers. Because, like, I mean, that gay couple in that thing, like, by Sam and Dean, and they're together, and that's a Wincest thing. And then, like, what's her name? Marie. Yeah. Who is allegedly a Sam girl, a Destiel shipper, and a Wincest shipper. Like, okay.
Yeah. Like
is this the perception here that just everyone who has read Supernatural also ships them? I mean, Charlie has read Supernatural.
And she doesn't.
She doesn't. Yeah. She just says that Cass seems helpful and dreamy. So, I don't know. Was it because Charlie was a real person and they were like, well, it's weird for us to do that to a real person and a real character? My God.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's just like they want to make fun of fans, and those are the fans that like
to make
are the
fun
easiest
of.
to make fun of, which I get. But yeah,
but there is a point where they're not making fun of the fans, or it's irrelevant to the making fun. Like, was it really necessary that the two LARPers that they were making fun of also happened to be gay lovers? Like, was that necessary?
I don't think so. Mostly just a homophobia thing, I think.
Yeah, and like Marie, was it necessary for Marie to be a Wincest shipper? Not at all. She's already doing a musical. That's already embarrassing enough.
God, sorry, Marie. Such a hater.
And also, I mean, I keep on reiterating this because every single time I think it's the most insane thing ever. They do like an implied Marie ships Wincest thing, and then they do an implied Marie ships Destiel thing. And Jensen Ackles looks at the camera over the Destiel thing, and it's like, okay, well, Supernatural is so fucking weird about its fucking incest situation.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what the point of Becky is
right now. Yeah. I mean, it's similar to the point of the writer in 418. What's that? The producer, the publisher in 418.
Yeah, the publisher.
Same deal. In the middle of it all, Carver Edlund calls, and it's Chuck. And she opens it, and she's very excited. Why does he have her number? And why is everything
he mentions
happening?
that she sent him a bunch of letters, so I'm assuming she ends each one with like, call me, and then her number.
Yeah. Chuck is just like, hi, Becky. And, you know, she's like, you got my letters and my marzipan. And Chuck goes, yeah, yummy. He is funny. But, yeah, Becky says, I'm your number one fan.
Like, what is that? I feel like I'm going to hate it, whatever it is.
That's true. I have not a recollection of them dating at all.
Well, they did, so that's going to be bad to look at.
Well, and she says, I'm your number one fan. I'm Sam Licker 81. And she says, I'm webmistress of morethanbrothers.net. Well, Chuck is like, well, okay, well, yeah, you're my number one fan, which is why I am contacting you, because you're the only one who will believe me. And he says, like, something, I'm being watched, something, can you get the message to Sam and Dean? And Becky goes, Look, Mr. Edlund. Yes, I'm a fan, but I really don't appreciate being mocked. I know that Supernatural is just a book, okay? I know the difference between fantasy and reality. And Chuck just goes, Becky, it's all real. And she goes, I knew it. Okay, I understand why you would think that.
Like, she's like endearing during this scene, I think.
Yeah. She pulls up into the motel room and like just Sam and Dean like go to the thing like with guns out. Good for them.
Wait. You forgot about climate change denier Dean.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, you're right.
The most important part of the episode.
So in the television, they're talking about like, oh, can you explain an earthquake, hurricane, multiple tornadoes all at the same time, all around the globe, and like
that's just every week nowadays. Honestly, like it sucks, but that is how it is.
Yeah. And he says, the whatever expert they invited says 2 words, carbon emissions. And Dean goes, yeah, right, wavy gravy.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
This is climate change denial that Supernatural is doing in 2009.
Yeah.
What was the atmosphere of climate change denial in 2009? Pretty big, I would say.
Yeah, pretty big. And apparently Eric Kripke was in on it. Because, like, this is clearly, like, this scene, like, probably did do some actionable harm in the world when it happened. Yeah. And that I feel like people watching it who were climate change deniers were like, see, even my hero Dean Winchester thinks it's a stupid fringe theory. So, like...
Well, I mean, they also did say that demons did 9/11, so... Not particularly good track record regarding everything.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Like the first bit, right? They do the radio thing where they're like, oh, there's like a fucking earthquake and also the volcano and also swine flu. Like literally a month before the pandemic hit the Philippines, all of my relatives were at our house because the volcano exploded and also like the fucking earthquake because of that was also happening. Yeah. And so like when that was happening, I was like, wow, just like 2020 for real. And it literally was.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is now. It was in 2009 and it is now 2024. Mm-hmm. Been a while. That's truly a while.
Yeah.
My God. They go to the door, Becky's knocking, and she comes in, and she's very excited.
Yeah, hyperventilating and such.
Yeah, Sam says, "You okay, lady?" Which is made me realize that I have started using the word lady in my life, and I think it's because of Supernatural.
Yeah, I do notice that you say it a lot more than I do, at least.
Yeah, I do say lady a lot now. Well... and Becky's like, Sam, is it really you? And she's so excited. She, at this point, has she been holding on Sam's chest? I think she has.
No, I think she starts after Sam, is it really you?
Yeah, but she holds Sam's chest. She goes, and you're so firm.
Well, this is bad to look at.
Yeah, I do feel bad for Sam and also Dean later, but... Becky says, no, you don't know me, but I know you. You're Sam Winchester and she looks over at Dean and she goes, not what I'm pictured. Well, to be perfectly clear, when I said I feel bad for Dean later, I mean later.
Not because of this. Not because of this. Because of Matt.
I just realized it sounds like poor Dean.
Being sexually harassed and being called ugly are the exact same thing. I mean, sometimes they do come hand in hand, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thank God we finally have, like, a Sam girl who thinks that Dean is ugly as fuck. Sorry that it came with sexual harassment of Sam.
Anyway, she says, Mr. Edlund told me where you are and told me to get you a message. And she says, oh, the angels are watching over him. It's a nice change to the mythology, by the way. The demon stuff was getting a bit old.
She's so true and correct about that. That is the case.
Becky tells them that Chuck said the Michael sword is on Earth, the angels lost it, and that it is on a castle on a hill made of 42 dogs. And Dean's like, what? Whatever. And yeah, Becky's like, it doesn't make sense, but it's what he said. I memorized every word for you. And, you know, she's back to holding Sam's chest. Mm-hmm. And Sam just goes, can you stop touching me? And Becky just goes, no.
Boo.
Crazy.
Boo.
You know what I thought about this scene was last episode you were talking about the Saint Romuald.
Yeah.
And how like Ruby and Sam, was there a point where they could have been like that, or Sam becoming the boy king of hell? Would that be what he would be? And I'm like, he's that right now to Becky.
Yeah, that is true. That is what's happening. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Like, I just know that in season 7, doesn't she fucking drug him and try to force him to marry her? Like, that's coming up. And I don't want to see it. Yeah.
But they give her a fucking, they make her have Funko Pops in the future. Because Supernatural is so fucking terrible. I mean, I do understand what they were trying to do with the season 15 thing. And I wouldn't fault them for that. It's the season 7 I should fault them for. So
yeah. We come to a time later in the day, still in the motel. Bobby arrives. As you said, he's driving Impala.
Yeah.
Bobby and
commercial for
arrives.
A Chevy event, 15 years long.
So he comes in and he hugs both Sam and Dean.
I was afraid because he hugs Dean, right? And I was so afraid that he will hug Sam. Yeah. Well, he did, and like
that
a hefty hug to
his hugging dues. Yeah,
firm hug too, and Sam seemed happy to be there.
Yeah, Sam was happy to see him. They make some joke about Becky existing, and he calls Sam Romeo. Ugh, it's annoying the way that Supernatural treats sexual assault as just not serious when women perpetrate it.
Also not when men perpetrate it. Like the way they.
That's true. Yeah, I'm trying to
remember. It depends. Like there were times where they would take it seriously, like with Joe and Meg. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's just it's not a consistent thing for them.
They start talking about the Michael Sword stuff. Bobby has this lore book with paintings of Michael in it. And Bobby calls Michael tough, and Dean goes, "You kidding me? Tough? That guy looks like Cate Blanchett." Which, I don't know, that means something to you, right? Was she in Carol?
Why are you just assuming that it means something to me because it mentions Cate Blanchett? And of course it does. Yeah, she was in Carol. She is very important to me.
Cool. Well, Bobby says that, Michael's really tough. He was the one who defeated Lucifer during the fall using a specific sword, and if we find it, then we can defeat Lucifer with it. And Bobby tells everyone, hey, let's split up and start reading shit. And Sam starts heading over to the books, and then he just stops, and he's just staring off into the distance. And Bobby goes, "Kid, you all right?" And Sam, he just needs catharsis, whether that be
so bad.
Yelling and cutting off, or like forgiveness from anyone. And Dean couldn't do it for him, and Bobby's the next closest thing to family he has. And also, the last time they saw each other, he did tell Bobby to shoot him in the heart.
Yeah, and also knocked Bobby out, so...
And then knocked Bobby out. Yeah, so there definitely should be some of that there. But I don't. Their re-meeting and their hug was very angstless. But I guess it's coming back. he turns around to Bobby and he goes, okay, wait. If Bobby didn't know, like, so what, Dean was just like, Lucifer got out of hell. I don't know how it happened. It just did. Can you come over? Like, that was
probably. No. I think it was like, maybe Sam killed Lilith, but it was too late. Lilith broke the final seal. But there's a different thing between that and Lilith is the final seal, as Cass
which
says.
Sam says as well. Yeah.
I'm still obsessed with that line delivery.
You are. You've said it a lot. Is it as important to you as Cate Blanchett is?
You know, I think Cate Blanchett would be a little bit more important.
Yeah. Good to know. All right, I'll get you a Cate Blanchett body pillow and not a Lilith is the final seal body pillow for your birthday then.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. So, anyway. Yeah, so Sam goes, like, no, actually, Bobby, this is all my fault. I'm sorry. And the camera's cutting to Dean, like, you know, like, shaking his head and looking tense and being like, no, Sam, don't say it.
I mean, he doesn't say, no, Sam, don't say it. He just goes, like, Sam. Stop. Like, he literally is like, don't.
Yeah, well, after Sam goes, Lilith didn't break the final seal. Lilith was the final seal. Dean goes, Sam, stop it.
Yeah.
And, you know, Sam finally says, I killed her and I set Lucifer free. And Bobby is like, you what? Even though that was, I mean, I know it's a demon, but like,
I didn't.
Like, I didn't know yet. I knew at the very beginning of the next scene. Because Bobby said that John was right, and I was like, wait, he's possessed.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I know that it's a demon, but this is like the thing that even regular Bobby is mad at Sam about. He just, like, forgives him for it. And it's like, you and Dean were literally trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why Sam is getting blamed for this when it's literally just, like, whoever got there first.
Like, I don't think Bobby was mad at Sam for killing Lilith. It was just, like, for not listening. That's a different thing.
If
like,
Sam
I don't think he
listened, then the world would have also
the
ended.
listening, that's not just about killing Lilith. At least to, like, Bobby and Dean's perspective. It's about the demon blood. It's about the blah, 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 blah. Okay,
and, like, it's about
there should be no, exactly. But,
yeah.
I do think it matters that Bobby is not mad at Sam for killing Lilith. And also, just not mad at Sam at the end of this episode, you know?
Well, he says that, like, he's, like, fine with Sam, but that he deserves a medal for it. So clearly he thinks that
it's a jest. It's a joke.
Yes, it is a joke, but
it's
like, it's not a joke that comes out of nowhere.
From nowhere.
Like, it is still like you know that you did something wrong.
Yeah, but I think I choose to think of it a little bit more benevolently than that.
So, but like it does come from somewhere though. Like where does the benevolence come in?
It comes from the general, like, it's this big massive thing that happened. But I don't think Bobby thinks Sam wrong of it. Like, I feel like, I don't know.
I think he does. I think he just also cares about Sam.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so, right, but, okay, your earlier point was that Sam not listening was about him leaving when Bobby tried to stop him.
No, it was like the demon blood. It was the before that. It was just
drinking demon blood?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't know. Bobby's stance on this entire thing is so confusing. Because we never know anything from him independently. It's always like him being like, Dean, I understand that you're mad. Hell, I'm mad too. But don't
like,
be
about
mad.
What?
It's like, and it's like, we never get like a perspective from Bobby that is not like, Sam, I understand you're mad at you. But can you stay in the room where we're torturing you to death? Like, I don't... Who knows even? What the fuck is going on with Bobby?
Yeah.
This is why, like, when he stands up here and he says, "Don't ever call me again," you're like, that's reasonable. Like, Bobby would say that. Yeah, it's because you don't know. Like, later when he goes, "Oh, Sam, everything that I said a while ago, you just know that demon talking. I would never cut you out." And you're like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Also, because like, both of those things.
Honestly, later when he said that, I was like, "That doesn't make sense."
Well,
but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Bobby really does only love Sam as a coworker, but maybe not. Maybe he just shows love in ways that I don't understand. Sam goes, "You guys warned me about Ruby, the demon blood, but I didn't listen. I brought this on." Did Bobby warn Sam about Ruby?
Bobby does not know anything or give a shit about anything.
Spoke to Sam like in all of season 4, besides to give him cases and then to go, "Can you please stay in the room where we're torturing you to death?"
I mean, I think the only time I remember Bobby saying anything to Sam was like in the fucking whatever the fuck that was, the siren episode. Sex and Violence,
where he's like, "It's not your fault that you were temporarily gay. That was the siren."
Yeah, to Dean. That's so funny as fuck show.
Yeah, he goes, "But I didn't listen. I brought this on," and that does make me sad because again, like, the ending of season 4 has made the entirety of season 4 the Sam is stupid season instead of the it's complex season, which I think is what it is. And yeah, now it's just like, you guys were completely right the whole time and I was just stupid the whole time, and now everything's my fault. Like, they were all so wrong. Like, you guys had the same goal, you just had different ways of going about it. Like, maybe
and you succeeded at being wrong. Like, that's why it is. He succeeded at being wrong.
And maybe it's like, okay, if he stayed inside the panic room and then Dean and Bobby went after Lilith, they wouldn't have succeeded. They would have just been killed. So then it wouldn't be the world is over. It'd just be Dean and Bobby are dead. But like, I feel like for Sam, I feel like that's not considered a better outcome necessarily for Sam. Like, okay, like, how could this have played out such that, like, no one kills Lilith and all of them are still alive?
I don't know. I mean, the angels are really forcing it, so.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, so what? Like, Sam stays in the panic room, and then the angels nab Dean, and then Cass tells Dean, well, I mean, yeah, the angels would not have let Sam
nab
stay.
Dean at all. Yeah. Well, they wouldn't have gotten Dean at all if Sam wasn't going about trying to kill Lilith. Because the point of Dean being there was to make sure Sam is unstopped. Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I feel like there was not a way. And I guess from Dean's perspective, it's like, well, if you'd listened to my voicemail, is like the only leg he has to stand on. Like, what? Like, I don't think Bobby knows the specifics of any of that shit.
Yeah.
I guess the Bobby inside the demon is also hearing about this for the first time. And we don't really know what he thinks, except that he concludes that he's still gonna be part of Sam's family. And we'll probably never know what he thinks because he's a character without much internality, I think.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Bobby goes, "You're damn right you didn't listen. You were reckless and selfish and arrogant." And Sam goes, "Sorry."
He literally puts on his sorry face and says, "Sorry."
And Bobby just says that, like, this kind of thing doesn't get forgiven. And if we, like, stop the world from ending, I want you to lose my number. You understand me? And Sam just, like, nods. Yeah, I think this wasn't his ideal outcome, but I think that this is, like, sort of partly what he wanted. Like, he knows where he stands now. And he's like,
yeah.
Okay, like, there's an old church nearby. Maybe I'll go read some of the lore books there.
There's a fucking, like, thing that I read a while ago that I have saved on my journal, and I have no idea where it's from. Okay. But it goes like, and nobody ever forgives me, and nobody ever screams loud enough. And, like, here, like, Sam is, like, he wants someone to either forgive him or to scream loud enough. And, like, this is Bobby screaming loud enough. And, like, yeah, it's not good. It's not a good outcome, but it must be satisfying in some way just to have someone acknowledge it and react to it.
Yeah, because he thinks that he should be punished for this.
Yeah.
And Dean isn't doing it, and Dean isn't forgiving him. So he's like, yeah, there we go. There's me getting punished.
Every time Robert Singer is a director and I'm like, it's about the blockings, I do get pissed at myself. But, like, I do like the blockings of this scene that Dean is, like, on Bobby's side. Like, Dean is standing away from them, but, like, every time the camera pans, he's not on Sam's camera, but he is on Bobby's. Yeah. And they also bring up a lot of the, like, Bobby's your surrogate dad thing. This episode, right? Like, Meg says it later.
Yeah.
And this is why the concept of, like, Bobby and John as characters that are, you know, parallels to each other is brought up in my head. Because as we know from the Stanford fight that Dean didn't stand up for Sam. Mm-hmm. And took John's side. And in a way, I mean, it could have been just like this. Like, Dean being like, Sam, just don't tell Dad. And Sam telling Dad anyway. And Dean being like, well, what can we do now? We're already here. Which is much of the vibe of what he is doing here, this scene. Because, like, the moment Bobby was like, oh, Sam, you're, like, lose my number, whatever. It's not like Dean can say anything to defend Sam at that point. Especially not when Sam is interfacing with it as it's all my fault. So it's like, well, it's just how the situation is right now. And I think of that, and I think
Dean does think it's all Sam's fault too, though. He doesn't.
I think there's a difference
because there is nothing that he believes that, like, would help Sam.
There is a difference between Dean thinking it's Sam's fault and Bobby thinking it's Sam's fault to Dean. Like, as I said earlier, it's like, you know, when you're a kid and you screw up and your older sister's like, you're a fucking messed up person in every way, shape, and form, but won't tell your parent about it because, like, they don't want your mom to get mad at you.
Yeah, it's like the punishment will be disproportionate if it is meted out by our parents.
Yeah, and this scene feels like that to me. And it reminded me of the Stanford fight, and reminded me of that fight when Sam stopped the car and then stormed out, and John was there, and they were, like, fighting at each other, and Dean actually stood in the middle of it and took Sam's side. And I don't know, like, yeah, I think later on in the episode when Dean says, I just don't think we can ever be the brothers that we were before. A part of that is I couldn't even stand up in front of Bobby like I did with Dad in the past for you. It makes me emo.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, it's not whatever. It means something to me, but also whatever.
Yeah. Also, the way Sam words this confession to Bobby is very, like, he doesn't even say, like, but, like, I didn't know she was the final seal. Like, the way he puts it is like, I totally knew, and then I totally killed her on purpose.
No, like, this is, like, you know how, like, people will take therapy, like, talking points and apply it to everything? And it's like, well, that shouldn't apply to your situation. I feel like Sam is doing the whole, like, don't make excuses, just take accountability. And it's like, well, there are excuses.
Context matters.
And also, like, that's not what happened. Yeah, so like, there is this assumption now that when you apologize and you say like a reasoning behind it, that it's less a sincere apology. And I feel like Sam is applying that in this situation. It's like, well, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I think he just feels so guilty that he thinks it doesn't matter what the details are, when I think it does matter what the details are. But yeah, so when Sam heads out, Bobby turns back to Dean and exchanges like a look with him. And to me, it read like a lot like a "can you fucking believe this guy" kind of look. Is that how you read it also?
Bobby looked to Dean, or Dean's looked to Bobby?
Oh, Bobby's looked to Dean.
Oh, I didn't really think much about it. Have you noticed how this entire scene that Bobby confronts Sam, I just absolutely gaff about Bobby, but also Bobby was a demon, so that's not Bobby, so it's fine.
Yeah, but it seems like a mutual "can you fucking believe this guy" look to me, which made me quite angry at Dean. Cause like,
I mean, later on, Bobby does say things, and Dean was like,
"That's a bit too far."
Yeah,
but yeah, I think at this point they believe that Dean believes that they're sharing a mutual "can you fucking believe this guy" about Sam. Dean has plenty of "can you fucking believe this guy's" about Sam, like with fucking Travis and Metamorphosis, and I think also with Gordon at some points.
That is, I think, the worst thing you can do to family. Can you fucking believe it, them? You're supposed to believe it. Like, that's your kid. You spend all your time with them.
Yeah.
So rude.
Yeah. So, Sam is gone, so it's Bobby and Dean talking. And Bobby goes, "I never would have guessed that your daddy was right." And I immediately write in my notes, "Wait, is Meg possessing him?" It wasn't Meg, it was a random other demon. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
It is crazy that all the demons have the similar talking points. And also the angels, I don't know, they have their talking points. It literally, like, what is
demon radio a thing? How do all the demons have the same information?
Yeah. And also, like, it's just fascinating to me that both the angels and the demons, when they want to tell Dean specifically something, it's John that they bring up immediately. Like, even Cass, right? Like, that's his talking point.
Like, how does the demon possessing Bobby know this? Like, maybe Ruby on Demon Radio was talking about this, like, a while ago.
I mean, Meg is there.
Yeah, well,
and this is Meg's coworker.
But was, like, Meg around for the save him or kill him? Yeah, actually she was. Yeah. She born under a bad sign him. Hell yeah. What a fun episode, besides the sexual assault, which is sort of like an attitude that one must maintain whenever Meg is on screen. Ugh. Yeah. It's always like, this is like the funniest, most charismatic, fun voice character ever, but also they made sexual assault one of her main character traits. Yikes.
When she kisses Cass, that was Cass taking advantage of the situation, right?
I think
because he throws her.
She was trying to get his like angel blade
sword. Yeah.
Well, okay, wait, which kiss are we talking about?
In season 5. Is there another one?
There's the holy fire one where they don't touch lips like it seems.
That's not like a kiss? Wait, have they ever kissed?
They kiss
in season 6.
Is that
or
in
season 5?
6?
I have no idea. I just recalled the one where he's against the wall or something, or she's against the wall. I'm not sure.
But
there was a wall.
It's in season 6 because it involves them demanding Crowley give Sam's soul back as part of
episode. So they do actually kiss. That was not what I was thinking about. I was thinking about season 5.
Fire?
Yeah, and they don't kiss in that. Cass just throws her into the fire.
It's so good. They're in love for real.
They should have gotten together. Like, I changed my entire mind. streets, even on the streets.
In the streets, even. Yeah. I thought you were a Mexiel hater.
I know, but apparently I changed my mind.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe when we're 25, we'll figure it out.
This is my Destiel for you. Like, you're like, I hate Destiel. And now you're like, aren't I the WAV? And then me, 501, also the same mindset.
Like, Meg and Cass haven't even interacted yet.
But they will. It will be important, or maybe not. I don't know.
It will be important. It will. So yeah, okay, you're right. Like, this is Meg's coworker, and she gave him the primer on the John Dean relationship being so fucked up, and the John Sam relationship also being so fucked up. So yeah, Bobby goes like, oh, like, your daddy was right, like, about your brother. What John said, like, you save Sam or kill him, maybe. And Dean's looking up, like, disbelievingly and says pretty stiffly, maybe what? And Bobby goes, maybe we shouldn't have tried so hard to save him. He ended the world, and, like, neither of us were strong enough to stop him, so, like, your dad was right. Dean doesn't say anything to counteract this, but, I mean, it's clear that he disagrees, but he's not brave enough to say anything about it. And he starts like rummaging through this bag, and I thought that, like, he was going for the holy water because he, like me, could tell that Bobby was possessed. But no, he's just like doing
completely
a completely
unrelated
separate thing.
I'm surprised that you knew immediately that this was a demon. I didn't. Until Bobby, like, pushed Dean against that final. Like, when he slapped Dean, I still was like, huh, what's happening?
You were like, that's just a regular day in the household. Yeah.
Dean's, like, Bobby's a real pissed right now. I don't know why.
But yeah, he doesn't care about what Bobby said that much. He finds this card inside of John's things, and it's the address for a storage facility, and it's Castle Storage, 42 Rover Hill. So, castle on a hill of 42 dogs.
What,
and
is
Bobby
Rover
goes,
a dog? Or
Rover's
that a
like
name
a
for a
common
dog?
name for a dog.
Wasn't there an American president named Grover?
Grover.
Yeah. As in Elmo?
As in
yeah,
Elmo.
okay.
So Bobby goes, oh, so you think John had the Michael sword all this time? And Dean's like, I don't know, probably. And Bobby goes, okay, good enough for me. And then he knocks Dean through a wall and then slams him and shit. And then his eyes go black. Yay!
And then I was like, is he doing? And then, like, at this point, I still was like, is he? Is that what's happening? And his eyes turned black, and I'm like, I'm so stupid. What's wrong with me? This is a show I've watched several times, allegedly.
Yeah. Didn't I send, like, I hope Bobby dies, and he does, thanks to Roman, and then never mind. While I was watching this,
I don't know, I thought maybe you just got endeared by him, like, halfway through.
Maybe. I assumed that you would already know, so it wouldn't be a spoiler if I said never mind. But apparently it wasn't a spoiler because you just so strongly did not know that you didn't even think of it.
Yeah, it is fascinating to me that, like, you would message me. You usually watch the episodes before me, so you would message me like, oh, I hate Dean this episode. And the whole time, like, before I watch the episode, I'm like, why? And I have no idea always. Like, I have never have any idea what's gonna happen.
For realsies.
Also, I just did not expect, like, Bobby's this ability arc, as people would say, to start this episode. I thought it would be, like, a bit later on. Although it does make sense because that Cass does come in and, like, tells Bobby, I can't heal you, like, next episode. So, of course, it's gonna be here. But Bobby is beating Dean up some more when a couple demons enter. And it's Meg 2.0. Honestly, she's such a slay character. Like, her look is so slay.
Yeah.
The way she speaks is so wonderful.
It's
and like
so
when we did season 1, I don't think I ever really realized how much Meg 1 and Meg 2 speak the same.
Yeah, me neither.
Like, I mean, in my head, Meg was Meg 2.0 when we were watching season 1. But I never connected the dots that, like, they have the exact same cadence. And it is a bit of a shock given that, well, when we saw Alistair, the most recent one, didn't have the cadence of the previous ones. And Ruby, different in Ruby 2.0. So, like, having Meg 2.0 be very much this is Meg in a different body, but it's a Meg for sure. Be like something a bit more impressive and a bit more fun.
Yeah, no, Rachel Miner did a really good job, and also she's so hot. Yeah.
And also, like, I do find it fun that Dean didn't recognize her immediately, but Sam did. That's so fun.
Yes, I loved that. It made me very emotional.
Yeah.
God, I do think it's hilarious that they bring her back, like, the episode after Ruby dies, though.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like, we lost our one, like, brunette demon who's, like, who Dean can call a bitch. Like, we need to bring in someone else, like Meg, but Meg was blonde. No, don't worry, we've recast.
I mean, Ruby 1 was also blind.
Yeah, so. Both of them had the blonde to brunette sort of character arc. Yeah.
And Meg just comes in, starts trash talking Dean, gets Ruby's knife. Yeah, she's like, wow, I mean, you're gonna ice the devil? Well, I would have ripped your pretty face off ages ago if I knew. And Dean's like, Ruby, like, very menacingly. And Meg was like, nah, try again. Go back further, which is so fun. And Dean just goes, Meg! And, like, he actually was like, huh? But yeah, it is Meg.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, what has Meg been up to? Like, the last time we saw her wasn't Born Under a Bad Sign, and, like, all she wanted was revenge for, like, the death of her brother and Azazel. Like, she wasn't really focused on the bigger plan at all. Like, kind of shockingly so in a season that was pretty focused on the psychic kids. But, like, I don't know, it's been like 2 years. Like,
a long
what's up?
time.
What has she been doing? Like, clearly she's a lot more on board with the Lucifer thing now. Like, did she join a Bible study? Like,
maybe found her way back to Lucifer.
Yeah.
She says, "Oh, our Father's among us," and it's like heaven on earth, or well, hell. And I do like that, like, with following what, you know, Ruby and like religion and Alistair being like, it was Alistair. No, it was Azazel, like being oh, like Lucifer is an angel, and it does matter because the vibes are the same or whatever. And how, like, he treats Lucifer as a god, as a religion. And, you know, here is Meg touting the same talking points. And also later when Lucifer goes, I'm an angel. I love that so much.
I thought it was pretty bad rhetoric when Lucifer did that. I was like, how is this gonna work? But I do think I really like Meg's full line here. I think I have it down as best line. Like, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. The Lucifer religion shit is fun.
She says, we're all dreaming again for the first time since we were human.
Yes, I really liked that line.
Yeah. Love it. And
yeah. Because it does remind you that, like, hell fucking sucks. And a lot of what the demons want from the apocalypse is, like, hell fucking sucks and they want to come onto Earth so that they don't have to be in hell anymore, basically. And, like, be able to have a space to themselves that they can,
Who is keeping them down there?
Yeah, it's just, like, hard to get up. Like, I think, like,
no,
physically.
but, like, they're also being tortured, and who dictates that? And why is this infrastructure built in the first place?
Princes of Hell. I don't know. It's stupid.
Like, what the fuck is this bureaucracy situation that you've entrapped yourself in? I don't know.
Yeah. I guess, like, the Princes of Hell are probably involved in keeping that running, except Azazel ditched his post to feed blood to babies. Lucifer's, like, in a cage, right? So, like, he's not even making any policy decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have no clue who's... Yeah, because like, Alistair says, oh, like, I love it in hell, but they keep sending me up here. Like, who's they? Like, what is this? I guess Lilith was, like, the leader for a while, right? So, like, she was ruling it. It's weird that there's not more of an upset in hell, like, now that there's, like, this power vacuum that Lilith left behind. But, I don't know, I guess...
Well, but there is Lucifer.
Yeah, I guess there's Lucifer. He hasn't talked to any of them yet.
And then, I mean, like what...
The angels was it Meg who said it? God.
Was it Meg who says, like, you know, like, Lucifer's not yet... like, in the body or whatever, so... Oh, no, it was Cass.
Yeah.
Cass says, like, the moment Lucifer is in his body, is in his vessel, like, the end begins, pretty much.
They say every episode, as soon as blah, blah, blah happens, the end begins. I feel like the end began, like, 500 times in Supernatural already.
No, yeah. I thought when she dies, the end begins, but yeah, it's still beginning. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's not the end until 504.
Yeah. Maybe Lilith is not the final seal. Have you considered?
Yeah, maybe Nick is. Maybe Sam is. Maybe anything, anywhere is.
Exactly. Maybe it's that fucking rusty ass nail.
Yeah. Maybe it is. Right, we got a really neat ask that was like Lilith is actually like the Jesus figure of the Lucifer religion because she's the one who has to die. And like was raised by Lucifer, like her soul was twisted by him and all that shit. So like I guess it's like Lilith died and like that is a power vacuum, but like she probably remains on as like a religious figure in the way that Jesus was, and like the memory of her is sort of keeping people together under the same goals, so that's why there isn't so much of an upset in hell right now. Fun stuff. Did Meg and Ruby know each other? I mean, she must know
of like Ruby due to she told Dean, like, no, further back. So she must know.
Yeah,
Maybe there was angel radio or demon radio.
Maybe so. I feel like they, like, at the end of season 3, it was sort of assumed that Lilith could communicate to all of her lieutenants without having to talk physically with them. So yeah, I think there is some kind of an equivalent.
It is fascinating that it's called radio. I mean, I know Dean just invented that shit, but like, so if you miss it, it's over? Or is it just constantly on and you can't turn it off?
I feel like it's on and you can't turn it off. Like, I feel like Anna wanted to turn it off and she couldn't.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, like, you decide what goes in, but still. Yeah.
What would be the modern equivalent of demon radio? I know there's still fucking radios, but is there...
like a giant Discord server?
For real, and it thinks at everyone, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't block people.
Yeah. Everyone, like, every message starts with at everyone.
Yeah. Oh, God, I hate at everyone so much. Usually I'm not relevant to the message, and, like, they send me a big, scary red number about it. Horrid.
Meg is telling Dean, like, oh, there's, like, so many demons. Like, everyone's just dying for a piece of you. And Dean says, get in line. And Meg says, oh, I'm in the front of the line, baby. Let's ride. And then, this is what we were mentioning earlier, Meg kisses Dean, and it is a bad look because
I mean, first it's sexual assault no matter what. Second, they do have Dean like scrunch his face up and like he is hating it.
And also, we forgot to mention, Bobby is like holding him still this entire time.
Yeah,
so there's also that aspect of it. So
yeah. And it just feels so tonally weird. Like, I don't like, they've done like sexual assault via demon like quite a few times in this show. Like, I think, you know, Meg does it to Sam in Shadow 116. Lilith does it to Sam in 316. And I feel like basically each time, like, it just feels like it comes out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Aren't those all Eric Kripke's also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Right. And it's like, I don't know, like it does feel like a misogynistic writing thing, like well, like we don't know how else to show that like a woman is bad. So let's do this. Yeah, like it's just very wedged in. It's very unfortunate to look at. I wish it was not happening. It just doesn't seem to like do anything for the story in any way.
Yeah.
I think you could say that maybe it feeds into like later when Zachariah is trying to force Dean to consent to being possessed by Michael. It could be sort of doing like a look at the way that both sides don't care about consent and like force things upon your body just like in different ways.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really it. Like, I feel like that connection isn't particularly obvious or necessarily intended.
I do think the whole angel thing, the fact that Dean calls it angel condom, and then like I mean consent is like the big word in the entire scene. Is like I think there is something to that.
Yeah.
This one, my main complaint about it is that it's just lazy. Like, as you said, they've done it so many times already. And it's like they don't know how else to communicate this other than in this way.
She could just punch him.
And then, I mean, also, it's just because the demon is a woman, you know? So, yeah, it's all that.
Not that I would want them to do this with a man either, because I think it would be homophobic.
Yeah. No, but like, the point is that they characterize their female characters a very specific way in Supernatural. And they find it very difficult to veer off this
sexy
path.
good or sexy evil.
Yeah. You know, every time we do like something like this and we go, of course there's complexity. It's like I get thrown back to that one time we were like, of course there's complexity, but like, do the writers know that? Well, do they?
Oh, do they? Dislike it. And I feel like for Meg, like, it is like an established like thing with her character, like in that she does it to Joe, Sam, and now Dean. And I think it is just like accumulated laziness on the part of the writers.
I don't know, because like the Meg thing was season 1, right? That was a season 1 thing.
Yeah, so, 116 and then 218, 220.
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe if they didn't have Lilith, like make this like in 418, if they didn't have Lilith do that, I would be less. I would be claiming less. The Supernatural's running out of ideas about this because it's like, okay, it's a character thing. It's a character thing. But also they do it for everyone. I don't know.
They do it for all female characters who are evil. And also, I don't think they should have made it a character thing just because I feel like they just don't do it very well.
It is just also like a Meg becomes a character we're supposed to at least like.
Yeah, and it's like, well, what about that, though?
And also at least, like, feel some empathy towards towards the
by
end.
season 8. Yeah.
And to be fair, like, they do work on that. Like, she becomes less demon-y by that time. And also, it just reminds me of how when I said that, like, Supernatural cares about vessels. Like, Supernatural doesn't care about vessels unless it's a recurring character. Just like how they did the whole thing with Jimmy and then removed Jimmy from there. And then they did the whole thing where Ruby doesn't actually have a vessel. I mean, doesn't have anyone in that vessel. So, like, they care when it's supposed to be a character who sticks around. And, like, Meg has been here long enough to be considered a character that sticks around. And so it does make me wonder, like, what is the perspective of this? Like, why is this being kept around? Is she supposed to remain evil? I suppose she is. But, I mean, at some point that will change. And I don't recall much of her future stuff. But let's see.
We'll see.
Yeah, this is when Dean says, oh, what's that peanut butter? And Meg says, well, Bobby's still alive. She says, your surrogate daddy's still awake screaming in there. And I want him to know how it feels slicing the life out of And she gives the demon knife to Bobby. Wrong move. Just give him a normal knife. Dean's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
Bobby, like, I don't know, is about to kill Dean, about to stab him. And then Dean goes, Bobby! He literally goes to Bobby! Bobby, like, is able to take control of the vessel. And then stabs himself. Shucks himself like an oyster, even.
Yeah. Is it in his stomach or his leg?
I think it's in the stomach. How did that reach his spinal cord, which is what I assume got damaged?
Yeah. Okay, first of all, so you can kill the demon possessing someone without killing the person if you stab the right way? Like, why didn't you try to stab the right way in the past? Like shooting, like, Azazel in the foot with the Colt didn't kill him. Stabbing Alistair with the knife in the shoulder didn't kill Alistair.
Yeah.
But you could kill the demon without... Like, Bobby could kill the demon without killing himself?
Also, how did Bobby get possessed? Didn't they have
does he not have the tattoo? We've never seen him have the tattoo. Maybe he was just like, that's for young people. Or, I don't know, maybe he's Jewish. There are many reasons.
Yeah, maybe Bobby draws the line at the tattoo.
Yeah.
But it is like a bit of a, Bobby's gonna get possessed. Bit odd. Okay, fine. It was a stressful time.
Yeah.
It was a really stressful day, as Chuck said.
Yeah, maybe Bobby only uses, like, temporary tattoos and he ran out.
He stabs himself, and then it becomes a fight scene where, I don't know, Dean's getting beat. Sam enters and sees Bobby and then gets beat. And then Meg is there.
Specifically, Sam, he enters, he sees, like, Bobby and Dean on the floor, and he goes, no! Like, it's so funny to me. Like, oh no! Why?
No! Oh, nor is what he said.
Yeah, though, I mean, it does feel a little bit to me like a, oh no, like, you guys can't die before I make this right between us, which I think is an understandable feeling to have, but also be worried about them just for them, please.
And yeah, Meg goes, hi Sam, you miss me? Because I sure missed you. And he recognizes her immediately, and it's really fun.
Meg. And yeah, because it's like first off, like, he knows Meg intimately because, like, he was the one who met her first in season 1. Like, they were, like, friends and she was stringing him along and all that. And then she possessed his body for, like, several weeks in season 2, right? Like, Sam was missing for, like, at least a week before Dean found him again.
And also
So,
was still possessed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, he knows Meg intimately. And also he knows it's not Ruby, because he knows Ruby intimately in a way that Dean doesn't. So he would not mistake either of them for the other. Like, he knows them because of somewhat similar things they've done to him, but not really that similar. And, yeah, I don't know. I care. I care about those relationships.
Yeah. It reminds me of... Sorry. But it reminds me of in the future.
Yeah.
When... Whatever. And it doesn't remind me of it at all.
What? Okay.
No, there's... Do you know that episode where Dean goes back in time to a ship? There's this...
Yeah, like...
There's a really
There's,
funny
like, a
scene
really
where
bad
God goes...
actor. Like, what is it? Like, that's him. He's the guy who... Like, what was it?
Who tied me up or something. What a funny as fuck episode. But, like, in that episode... well, Cass was possessed by Lucifer. Mm-hmm. And Sam is there, like... And he couldn't recognize that it's Lucifer. And I don't know. I was thinking of that, and I was thinking of this, of like...
Right.
I don't know, he was able to recognize Meg. And if this was Ruby, he would recognize Ruby, like, immediately, too. But he couldn't recognize Lucifer
for, like, 100 years, 200 years in the pit.
I think a part of it is that it was Cass, and so naturally his guard was down, because, like, that's Cass. And yeah, Cass is acting a bit weird, but Cass is always a bit weird. It's fine. Like, if that was just a random person, and then Lucifer was also there, it's like, oh, yeah. I mean, it also, like, earlier that season, there's a scene where Sam is having a dream of, quote, dad. And he realizes instantly, that's not, whatever you are is not, and it turned out to be Lucifer, and he goes, I could never trick you, Sam. But he was able to when it was Cass that he possessed, just because, like, Sam would never suspect Cass, probably.
Yeah. Sam feels just automatically safe around him at this point. Doesn't he let Cass, like, soul fist him? Like, Cass Lucifer? Yeah.
And also, Cass just soul fists him, like, in general.
Yeah, regular Cass soul fist as well.
Regular Cass and regular soul fisting.
Yeah. And it's regular because they're doing that shit daily.
That's what makes them good in bed.
God. Best video of all time.
Best video of all time. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, eventually Dean gets to fucking kill the other demon, and Meg yeets out of that thing. And then I also had the same thought I had with Lilith. Like, what the fuck are they gonna do with this vessel?
It seems like they just leave her, like, lying on the floor and then, like, run off, and then she gets repossessed. I mean,
it's probably easier for them to have the same person be repossessed again and again because they recognize the demon already. But that is a very morbid way to think about it.
I don't think that's the reasoning. I hope it isn't.
I think that's the reasoning. Like, well, whatever. At least we'll know next time.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's an odd thing. Like, you'd think you would wait for the other person to wake up, and then you'd be like, hey, do you remember that shit that happened? Okay, here's a tattoo to prevent it from happening again. We go back to Pike Creek, Delaware, where Nick lives, and he's, like, putting away baby stuff in a box in the nursery that his dead child used to live in. The baby rocker starts moving. He stops it, and then he hears, like, a baby crying out, and he digs through the box, and at the bottom of it is a baby monitor, and it's lighting up, and the crying is happening. So he heads over to where the crib is, but the crying ends. But, like, it's like every time he looks at it, there's no crying. When he turns away, the crying starts again. And then blood starts pouring out of the crib just in big old sheets. And he's very distressed, and he starts crying and crying. But, yeah, none of this is actually happening. Lucifer's just making him see visions. I think
Did this work for you?
Did this scene work for me?
Yeah.
I am curious about... I feel like Lucifer's approach to getting Nick to say yes feels too human?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that also how you felt about it? Like, it's so personalized and so based off of, like, here is, like, how Nick is feeling, here's how he's vulnerable, here are his pain points. And, like, if Lucifer's been in the cage alone for 200 years, or not 200 years, he's been in the cage alone for millennia, it's hard for me to imagine that he would have this as his go-to strat.
I mean, I've not thought about it that way. Lucifer is very much, like, throughout the show, he would know how to poke in that way, much like Zachariah, I feel like. Like, they would have the same vibe. I mean, when he approaches Sam, he goes as Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is, like, the perspective here, I suppose, of, like, having your dead whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as I've said earlier, there is the perspective of it's personalized in this way. Not because he's empathizing with Nick, but because he did that to Nick, so he can personalize it.
True,
like, he personalized it from the beginning.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense to me.
But also, how does that work? He's not been up a long time.
That's true. How did he do that?
I mean, he didn't. I'm not sure, as I've said.
He could have told Azazel to like do something.
To do it. Yeah, okay, yeah. But Azazel's dead.
Like, he could have told Azazel to tell someone else to do it.
I mean, maybe.
Like, we're talking about the killing of the family, right?
The wife, yeah.
Yeah.
And the kid. Should we Google right now what the fuck that is about? Or just, let's let it hang?
Like, are we, like, the reason to Google it is because it's taking up so much of our discussion when there's, like, an obvious correct answer that we could find if we looked at it?
Yeah, but that is true for everything we talk about, honestly.
I kind of do want to know, though.
Okay, let's look it up.
I guess I don't only know things from social media.
After tracking the killer to Mary Winchester, Nick defeats Donna Hanscom and kidnaps Mary. What is
What? Mary did? I guess Mary did it. No need to read further. This is what I believe now.
One named the demon Abracious. Or... Is that how it's pronounced? It's either pronounced Abracious, Abraxas, Abrixas. I don't know.
It could be whatever. Okay, so it was a demon who did it?
Yeah.
And what is his relationship to Lucifer?
Let's see. Let's look at the Abraxas. Was an extremely sadistic demon loyal to Lucifer who brutally murdered Nick's family on Lucifer's orders. So yeah,
okay.
I was right. He did not kill his family, but Lucifer did.
Great. Okay. Cool.
You know what it is, though? When he showed up, the ghost of his wife was there. And the wife was like, be free, my love, or whatever. And he was like, no, I want to get back together with Lucifer. So that's what happens.
Huh. Okay. Whatever, I guess. Okay, you asked why this worked, like whether or not this worked for me. Why do you ask? Did it strongly not work for you?
No, I'm just curious because, as I've said, like, the Nick and Lucifer, this Lucifer, like, I just find it very hard to give a shit. So, like, do you? Or, like, what's the situation?
I think I gave somewhat of a shit until I found out that it was like a murderer and not like something else.
Why is that?
I mean, just like they're trying too hard to do John Winchester parallels if it's a murderer.
Okay.
I don't know. Also, I think the whole, like, the desire for revenge being directed at, like, a specific person, and also God, doesn't work as well as, like, it was fully because of misfortune, which is fully God's fault because God controls fate. Like, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like, because, like, if it's like, oh, you should be so mad that someone murdered your wife and kid that you should hate God, it's like, don't you have, like, a primary person to hate first?
Like, don't you have anything else to do?
Yeah. Take a leaf out of John Winchester's book, man. He didn't go straight to God. He had some intermediaries first. Yeah, so, like, if it was, like, death by child, like, just death in childbirth, death through, like, I don't know, fucking, like,
Cancer,
anything else, like, gas leak, whatever, then it's, like, okay, like, that's God's fault.
Well, I feel like you can still blame someone for a gas leak.
Yeah, sure,
So
you can
really
kill the utility company CEO. Or the, like, person who worked on the house. Yeah. But I think that, I feel like that's less direct than someone came in and shot your wife and kid. So, yeah, just didn't work for me after that. Currently, I think it was working for me. 'Cause,
you know what? His family could have died during one of the calamities brought about by Lucifer's rise.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that would be like a fun concept, maybe.
Yeah, like, wasn't one of the seals that, like, a teacher in New York, like, killed everyone in a classroom? So, like, the kid could have gone via that, I suppose.
Yeah, but it won't be a crib then, because, I don't know, I don't think 2-month-old babies go to school.
That's true. Good point. Okay.
Yeah, it is a nice visual, though. The visuals for the next scenes are
it's a fun visual. It's, like, a fun, like, I feel like it does feel actually scary. You're, like, you are, like, man, Lucifer's really toying with this guy just, like, for fun and to manipulate him better, and it is creepy what's happening.
Yeah. Anyway, Sam and Dean, emergency room. They're rushing Bobby and no cap.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is the priority in this situation.
Of course. But, Sam looks like the most lesbian person ever.
I know. He is so cute. But, I
think it's something about his hair in this episode, but especially in this scene. It's just, like, at a really nice length and shape.
Yeah. Bit more mushroomy than usual, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, they're in there going, Poppy, hang in there. And they're not allowed to go inside. And Sam just decides that he's going to stand there and wait. And Dean just is like, well, no, we have to go to what was said because maybe the demons already know and we need to go there.
Yeah.
So they do.
This is an interesting inversion from season 4 where, like, Dean was mostly the feelings guy and Sam was, like, the plot guy. But I guess it does make sense that, because, like, Sam's currently in his I need to be, like, forgiven or punished mode, so he's going to be very focused on the relationships in his life. And Dean's in the I need to repress everything and focus on the apocalypse mode. So now they're where they're at.
Yeah. Well, as they go in, they have this really fun scene where they're loading up their weapons. I don't know why I like it so much. I think it's because we just haven't seen it happen in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gearing up and then they go in. And there is a bunch of dead bodies on the floor of demons. And also, Zachariah's over there. And he says, I see you told the demons where the sword is. And Dean just goes, oh, thank God the angels are here. He is also pretty funny this episode. Maybe this episode is funny. Zachariah is doing the ominous, like, they could have grabbed it the whole time. You hand-delivered it. He's so annoying. But apparently they just planted that prophecy in Chuck's head to get Dean to come here. Because the Michael sword is you, Chucklehead. Dun dun dun.
Zachariah goes, "You thought you could actually kill Lucifer? You simpering wad of insecurity and self-loathing? For realsies." And he calls Dean a human and not much of one, which is fun, I think. I don't know. I don't think it means anything particularly deep, but it does seem like a deliberate choice to be like to say human instead of man here. And Dean doesn't understand what the fuck is going on. But Zachariah explains that he's the vessel, Michael's vessel. Dean's not excited about this. He calls himself an angel condom and says, no, not happening. And Zachariah's like, no, you gotta. And then he, like, raises he does, like, finger. A handgun.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his fingers. And then he shoots it off boom. At Sam, and he goes bang. And then Sam falls to the ground because both of his legs got broken. It was so good. He says, like, oh, like, Dean, if you keep mouthing off, then I'll, like, hurt Sam more. We really need you to be a vessel and all that shit. Like, please. And Dean asks how many humans will die. Like 10 million? And Zachariah says probably more, but if Lucifer goes unchecked, you know how many die? All of them. And yeah, sometimes I am annoyed at supernaturals. There has to be a third way, like, approach to plot. But I think this is one of the episodes where I'm like, I do like supernaturals. There has to be a third way plot. Like, I do like at some point that, like, there's a line to be drawn, and if the lesser evil is still beyond that line, then, like, we're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Dean is like, oh, like, the reason you're trying to get me to do this, like, instead of just kidnapping me, is that you need my consent. Well, there's gotta be another way. Zachariah says that, like, this has to happen. It is written. Written where?
I don't know.
Who decided this? God?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, even though we actually do meet God, like, for realsies, everything is still so nebulous in that department, so.
No. And Dean goes, eat me. The answer is no. So, Zachariah's next offer is that if Dean says yes, they'll heal Bobby's legs. Otherwise, he'll never walk again. And Dean just says no to every offer. So, the next one is that Zachariah gives him stage 4 stomach cancer. And he'll only heal him if Dean says yes. And then Zachariah takes Sam's lungs away. Slaycation. And as everyone has done and timed, it's about 90 seconds that Sam doesn't have lungs. So, good for him for being able to hold his breath for that long.
I mean, is it that long? Like, Cass comes in and then tells Zachariah, leave these two alone. That's 90 seconds total.
Yeah, because there's, like, a fight first. And then...
yeah.
Yeah, Cass and Zachariah have an exchange that takes too long for Sam dying on the floor.
No, I mean, a part of it is probably, like, fixing them up, including removing the brain damage that Sam has acquired from not having oxygen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, also, I guess 90 seconds isn't, like, that bad in that some people can just do it if they're, like, good swimmers.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know if Sam's a good swimmer. Well, he did dive in with his jeans on.
Yeah.
For
his own compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, for his own compliment. And he did it solo in Playthings, right?
The pool one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The hotel one. So, he could swim and amount.
He could.
And so, Sam and Dean are both on the ground dying. And Zachariah goes like, "Are we having fun yet? You're going to say yes, Dean." And Dean says, "Just kill us." But Zachariah is not going to do that. But then there's a bright light. And I love the way they shoot this. We see one of the angels, like the nondescript angels in the black suits, and then we see a blade go through his throat from behind.
Yeah.
And then we see him fall. Like, as he falls, we pan over, and then it's Cass. It's Cass. It's Cass. It's Cass. Oh my god. It's Cass. Did you know that it was Cass? It's Cass.
It's wonderful.
It's so good to see him. Oh, he's so cool. Has anyone ever been so cool? Probably. Ruby in season 3.
But this is another cool.
Yeah.
This scene, it is fun to see Cass back, but also I am just so vehemently aware of all the camera tricks they're doing to not show Misha Collins throw a punch.
Exactly. Like, it's so shaky, the resulting fight scene. Like, yeah, I made the same note. I was like, earlier. It's just to make it look like he's doing a good job in a fight scene.
Because we saw a fight scene earlier with Dean and Sam and, Meg and company. So, like, we know what a fight scene looks like in Supernatural. Because at least the Uriel and Cass scene, we didn't actually see a fight scene prior to that.
Yeah, it was mostly just Uriel beating Cass up.
Yeah. Like, this one is like, we saw a fight scene for real prior to this, and then this one, and it's like, oh, we were just never gonna see, like, a proper shot of anything? That's great.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
It's wondrous.
So, yeah, Cass fights the other angel. At least we think he does. You can't tell because of how shaky the camera is.
Yeah.
And then,
it's implied.
Yeah, the other angel gets stabbed and dies. And then Cass corners Zachariah, who is in shock. He asks, "How are you?" And Cass goes, "Alive? That's a good question. How did these two end up on that airplane? Another good question. Because the angels didn't do it. I think we both know the answer, don't we?" He's so
cunty.
He's so cunty for real. And, like, I feel like if I was personally resurrected by God as, like, you alone were correct about everything last season, I, too, would be quite cunty.
For real.
Like, he knows for sure now that he is God's specialist little princess.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, like, Cass's journey this season is gonna take him places, but
yeah.
I think all of the places are wonderful, and I'm glad we start here with him just being so sure that he is the chosen one.
Yeah. So, Zachariah goes, "That's not possible." And Cass goes, "It scares you? Well, it should. Good for him."
Lovely.
And he says, "Now put these boys back together and go." God bless. I love when he calls Sam and Dean boys. Like, he is gay.
No, but it does remind me of when you said that, like, they make a point of calling Dean human and not, whatever, man. And now it's like, Cass is calling them boys. Well, that's fun.
It is fun. Ugh. Because I know he keeps calling them boys in season 6 because I know he says that in Man Who Would Be King, so...
What did he say that says boys in Man Who Would Be King?
I think, there's is there a voiceover at the beginning where he's like, here are all the things that happened, and he was like... I feel like he's like,
Two boys and an old drunk?
Yeah. I think it was that. Yeah, it was 2 boys and an old drunk. So, like,
Bobby
Sam and Dean
so
are
real.
too young for him, but Bobby's too old for him. Like, what does Cass think his age is, like, human age-wise? Like, 40?
I don't know,
Does Cass feel 40?
Rude. It is very rude to call Bobby a drunk, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Zachariah heals Sam and Dean, presumably. He doesn't have to touch them to heal them. Cass is just a freak.
He's a freak and a weirdo.
Yeah. A crepe, too. I mean, there are times when Cass heals Sam and Dean without touching them, right? So, like, he chooses that shit whenever he chooses to touch them to do it.
When did he not touch them and heal them?
Like, when he and Dean are in a fight in 1509, doesn't he hover his hand over Dean's hand and heal the cut? But he doesn't, like, touch it.
Touch him, yeah. So why would he even need to hover over it?
Like, I guess gay reasons.
Yeah, gay sex reasons even.
Yeah, gay sex reasons. That's what a hand job is, right? Like, no one ever told me what that was. Is that what a hand job is?
The gay sex?
No, I was making a joke about the hand healing being a hand job. It's
so corny. It's too corny.
Yeah, we're cutting it out. No one needs to know.
No, we'll never.
Okay. Well, anyway. So after Zachariah leaves and Sam and Dean are both fine and stand up, Cass says, you two need to be more careful. And Dean's like, yeah, got it. Also, the other angels are dicks. And Cass is like, no, I don't mean them. Lucifer is circling his vessel, and once he takes it, those hex bags won't be enough to protect you. And then, yeah, he puts one hand on each of their chests.
Yeah.
And he says that he carved an Enochian sigil directly into their ribs.
No, like what he says first, an Enochian sigil, and then Dean goes, did you just brand us with it? And then he goes, no, I carved it into your ribs, like fully being like, no, that's a normal thing to do.
Obviously I wouldn't brand you. Like, no, it's just in your ribs, duh. Yeah, and it'll hide them from every angel, including Lucifer's.
Because this was just preceded by a conversation about angel and consent and blah, blah, blah. And also the Meg scene happened earlier. I was a little bit, like, conscious of that in this one. Because, like, the reaction shot of Dean and Sam, like, looking at Cass, like, huh? And, like, I mean, I suppose it can feel violating to be branded in your ribs by Enochian sigils. So,
like, you can't do anything about that. That's way deep inside. So, after that, Sam goes, hey, Cass, were you really dead? Oh, Sastiel's real also, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. Sam and Cass's relationship should be more complex than it is right now, though. Like, Cass did let him out of that room, and, like, Cass and the angels were part of the people who were, like, going around telling Dean, like, stop Sam, blah, blah, blah. Actually, why did that happen? Why did Cass tell Dean to stop Sam in 403 if the angels wanted the apocalypse to happen?
I mean, at that point, as we've said, Cass still doesn't know.
Well, Cass didn't know, but I assumed he brought Dean back in time because of orders. So, like, why was that order given?
I don't know, backstory. Just so they can have a lovey-dovey turning around the shoulder on something moment.
It was part of the honeypot Cass plot.
For real.
Whatever. It's cute. And I think it's also like a nice thing because it's like, you know, like Sam has had a difficult relationship with God, and he knows now, like, if what Cass says is true, like Cass was brought back by God, and Sam, like Dean and Sam were saved by God when Lucifer arose. So like, I think it does mean something to have proof that like God is somewhat on his side despite what he did.
Yeah.
So Cass goes, yes. And Dean goes, then how are you back? And then Cass just vanishes. I love you, Cass.
So that's all of our cast for this week.
Yeah.
That's all the cast.
It is interesting that he comes back. Because I feel like if I was a first-time viewer,
it would be surprising to have this character come back.
I might come back in 502.
Oh. What do you mean?
Like, it seems like Cass's work here is done.
My work here is done. Who says that in Supernatural?
I don't know, someone.
Do you think so?
I mean, like, not entirely. Like, obviously, like, it seems like there's, like, a setup for him to be a bigger part of this. But also, like, I don't know, Cass personally, like, what are his reasons to come back? Like, he already hid them from every angel and demon in existence, including Lucifer.
Because he wants to find God.
Well, but we don't know that yet. In this episode.
Yeah, but we will know when he comes back. So you're saying there's no, like, real motivation to bring him back right now as it stands?
Yeah, like, from what we know about him so far, like, he is sort of, like, I don't know, I feel like he could be done.
Could he? I mean, the thing about Cass is, as I've said, he literally could have just gone. Like,
yeah.
He could have just died for real in season 5. He could have, I don't know, like, raised Sam back from from hell in season 6 and then just left. He could have just stayed Emmanuel forever and just died completely, like, not even come back in season 7. He could have just killed Dean in season 8. Like, he could have just stayed human and stayed away forever in season 9 and then bring him back in season 15 and be like, oh, remember Cassiel? You know, like, there's so many
he was
ways.
Gay for you the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like, there's just so many avenues to take Cass's character out of the story. I mean, and they did do it. It didn't work.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't think anyone would really complain if Cass just died in season 4. Yeah. Or would they?
I think people would be fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, like
he'd probably just go down as sort of like a Henriksen type character.
Yeah, or a Pamela or something. Or like Joe and Ellen, who are still beloved characters. And I mean, I don't know, like, Dean did mourn him before we knew that he was still alive. So, like, there is, like, you know, it's not like it's just, he died, whatevs. Like, there is the aspect
Pamela.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, he could have just gone because the show, like, Dean accepted that he was gone and also, like, was mourning him already. So it's not like there is the aspect of we need more, like, attachment to the character so that when he actually does die, it does matter. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it already did matter. Why was Cass brought back over and over again? Because, like, before, like, in season 7...
we all like him so much.
No, like, in season 7, it was because that season was pretty bad and was pretty not well received. So they needed to bring back something that people liked. But I feel like if Cass died in a season where it was less bad, people wouldn't demand the same of him.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, like, there is the aspect, I mean, Bobby died the middle of season 7, but it's fine because it's Bobby. And also, they put a lot of focus on it, and it's like a big deal, and it's the middle of the season. So like it feels like the season where Bobby died instead of season 7 where it's like, and the season starts with Cass walking into the river.
Yes.
So I don't know. Oh,
yeah.
We are so lucky that they brought Cass back over and over again. Or are we? I mean, if they didn't, we wouldn't be here. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, probably. Definitely. Why does Cass just leave?
I don't know. He's trying to be mysterious.
I feel like, I don't know. Like, he should be having... Is he, like, what are his feelings about Sam and Dean right now? Like he failed to stop the apocalypse.
Well, he will say it to them next week.
Okay. Right, next week he's angry. Is he leaving because he's angry at them?
I don't think so. I think this is just, I'm going to figure stuff out by myself. And by next week, he has figured it out. And he's asking Sam and Dean for the thing.
Okay. I guess we can wait to see how Cass feels.
Yeah.
But I want to know now. Oh, well,
next week. Watch the episode.
Yeah. I've never watched, like, a bad episode in advance. I don't think it's gonna happen.
You can just say Supernatural.
You're right. Okay.
You've never seen a Bus Station Beauties episode in advance.
Yeah, I always happen to be like there at the time that it's being made for some reason.
We go to Nick's house and he is sleeping, gets woken up by his wife or a vision of his wife. Well, a vision of his wife. It's Sarah, and she immediately goes, "Nick, you're dreaming." But it doesn't mean that this isn't real.
Wait, hey, did you notice what she's wearing?
She's wearing a white nightgown. Hell yeah. Supernatural. There's one thing you can rely on Supernatural on, and it's that they will put a woman in a nightgown.
They should have put her in a Pikachu onesie.
Sure, why not? She says, I'm not your wife. I'm an angel. My name is Lucifer. Nick is, disbelieving. It's like, well, can I just go back to sleep? But anyway, Lucifer keeps on insisting that, like, you're so special. You're a vessel. And Nick is not engaging in the conversation, but he's not engaging in the conversation.
Yeah, like, he's being sarcastic, but he's also, like, listening.
Actually trying to listen. Yeah.
I think he does feel like a generally real person during most of this conversation. I think it mostly worked for me, except for the murder part.
So Lucifer says, I need to take control of your mind and your body, which is very interesting. I thought it was just a body thing. But yeah, Lucifer says, to be honest, it'll probably be unpleasant for you, but it is necessary. Like, he keeps on saying, like, don't be afraid, it's your choice, and you need to invite me in. So, yeah, pretty fun. And Nick says, why would I do that? And Lucifer says, you call me Satan and devil, but do you know my crime? I loved God too much. And for that, he betrayed me. Punished me just as he's punished you.
People need to ask follow-up questions more during their angel possession bouts. Like, Jimmy should have asked follow-up questions. Nick definitely should have asked follow-up questions about what the fuck do you mean loved God too much?
Yeah. Yeah, after all, how could God stand idly by while the man broke into your house and butchered your family in their beds?
Was Nick, like, on a business trip? Wasn't his wife's bed also his bed?
I mean, I was thinking maybe that's why he woke up bloodied like that. And it's like, did he wake up beside his bloodied wife with blood on the sheets?
Yeah, I guess if a demon did it, it would make sense that they skipped over him.
And then, Lucifer said, well, either God's sadistic or simply doesn't care. And then, you're angry. You have every right to be. I am angry too. And we will find him and hold him accountable. Just because he created us doesn't mean he can toy with us like playthings.
Just because he created us doesn't mean he can toy with us like toys. Like, that's what he's saying. Like, stop trying to do figurative language. Like, and just using the thesaurus. Like, you're not Dean Winchester.
Yeah. Well, one thing about Dean Winchester is he will know a way around the sentence.
Yeah.
He has a GED, a give ML attitude, and a special thesaurus that only he has access to.
Yeah, and he'll figure it out. So, okay.
He will figure it out.
Is this Lucifer's plan? How is this related to him killing Michael? Can't he just find God?
Well, obviously he's lying to this guy.
I mean, yes, but like, does any part of him want to hold God accountable, and what does that look like for him?
I don't know. When we do meet God, Lucifer does lock himself up inside Sam's room and like plays emo music or something. So,
Okay.
Supernatural becomes so unserious so fast. Nick says, "Are you gonna bring back my family?" And Lucifer says, "No, but I can give you the next best thing, justice." Which did remind me of the Mary bit with Sam. Yeah. And Nick says, "How do I know you're telling the truth?" Lucifer says, "Because I don't lie. I don't need to. What I need is you." It's so fucking annoying. But yeah, need you to say yes. And Nick does.
We see like a big old bright light out of his
Yeah, it is a
house
nice
and all
visual
that.
every time
It's
that
fun.
happens.
Lucifer so far has spoken through a dead nun and through Nick's dead wife. Like, do you think Supernatural was trying to do anything with gender there, or?
I mean, as I've said, he speaks through Jess also. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe something Eve visualization.
Yeah, sure. Why not? We're at the hospital. We hear outside of Bobby's like room him yelling, "Unlikely to walk again? Why, you snot-nosed son of a bitch. Wait till I get out of this bed. I'll use my game leg and kick your friggin' ass. Yeah, you better run."
Is running away? Or the
Like,
nurse or what?
Yeah, the doctor's running away. And it's like, I feel like doctors deal with patients that yell at them like pretty frequently.
Also, like,
according to
run.
Documentary House MD.
I feel like it's not a running situation.
Yeah.
Is Bobby dying? Are you gonna get a crash cart? Like, what's happening?
It just seems to be like Bobby is so mean that the doctor's running away.
No, I mean, that's the implication. It's just unrealistic and stupid.
It is unrealistic and stupid. I agree. And Dean's like, no, like, he's so wrong. You'll be fine. And yet, you're right that this is the start of Bobby's disability arc. There's like sad music playing over the scene, including of the yelling. It's like, oh, look at this futile, sad old man, like, in denial about how he'll never walk again. Blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I guess I'll have a better grasp on what they're trying to do here when we see more episodes of season 5. I don't have much hope about it. Like, what do you remember about this?
Well, it's Crowley who heals him. It's Crowley who heals him. Yeah, that's all I remember. Right. And also, at some point, he will I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he will complain about it at some point.
Yeah.
And the iconic group picture is him on a wheelchair.
He's in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam goes, "Let me ask the $1 million question. What do we do now?" People have been asking this all episodes. Sam, you aren't original.
He literally, like, does a whole build up to it, too. And it's like, Sam, shut the fuck up.
And Bobby's just like, okay, well, we're fucked no matter what, but let's just save as many people as we can for as long as we can. And Dean goes, but what if we win? I'm serious. Like, screw the angels and the demons and their crap apocalypse. If they want to fight a war, they can find their own planet. This one's ours. And I say, get the hell off it. Like, let's just kill Satan and also Michael, like, all by ourselves. And Bobby's like, how? And Dean goes, I got no idea, but what I do have is a GED and a give 'em hell attitude, and I'll figure it out. It's weird that they used a clip from the Clicky AMV in the actual show.
Yeah, I know.
That the original creator gets credit.
Exactly. Yeah. Every time Supernatural shows a clip from the Clicky AMV, I'm like, wow, just like in the Clicky AMV.
Yeah, like they took that from the Clicky AMV. Crazy. And Bobby's like, he doesn't really believe that this will happen, but he does feel
he is amused
by Dean's
and
words.
Sam too. Sam's like smiling.
Yeah, they're both cheered up. And Dean's like, hey Bobby, like, you stay on the men, we'll see you in a bit. And he and Sam are about to head out, but then before Sam goes, Bobby is a really nice guy. He goes, Sam, like, I was awake, like, while I was possessed. I know what I said back there. I just want you to know that was the demon talking. I ain't cutting you out, boy. Not ever. Aww, I don't believe it. It's like, this isn't like Bobby to me, but like, if they say it is, okay, I'll take it.
I mean, you cannot believe it, but it's undeniable that it's true by the end of Bobby's run, so.
Okay.
He'll never cut him out as a coworker. I still cannot. There's this one scene in the flashback episode where they're throwing ball, and the only kid there is Dean. And it's the big, like, Bobby was their dance. And it's like, that's just Dean. Love it.
Love it.
He only started talking to Sam when Sam was like 16, and it was like an employment thing. Sam was interning for him.
Yeah. Sam, like, sort of pauses for a bit, and he goes, thanks, Bobby. And Bobby goes, you're welcome. I deserve a damn medal for this, but you're welcome. And they exchange smiles, and it's nice.
Sam is so smiley now, and he's like pleased with himself. Maybe he was like, he's like, Dean doesn't want to talk about it, but at least here's Bobby who has told me that I'm absolved. And also, like, Dean is being optimistic, and that's nice.
Yeah.
And then they go out.
They go outside, and it's all fucked to hell. Sam's saying, like, hey, like, how about, like, let's, like, go after the cult. And, like, both this and his earlier, like, $1 million question, what do we do now, is him being like, okay, like, I can get with Dean's program. Like, let's just focus on the plot.
Thing.
Let's just focus on the apocalypse. I can do this. But Dean can't do it. Dean goes, what difference would that make? And Sam's like, well, we could use it on Lucifer. Which literally isn't true, because Lucifer's an angel.
Wait, why isn't
like,
it true?
Can the cult kill angels too?
The cult can kill anyone. Any creature.
Okay, if, like, angels, like, if, like, no one even fucking knew about angels, how does Samuel Colt know that it can kill angels as well?
Well, they don't know, but it does.
Okay. I would not be so quick to jump to that conclusion. But, yeah, so, apparently, you could use the cult on Lucifer, and Sam's like, I mean, you just said back there, and Dean goes, I just said a bunch of crap for Bobby's benefit. Ugh, sad. And he says, like, yeah, I'll, like, fight, like, until the end, but we're still screwed. And you know that. I mean, hell, you of all people know that. What does that even mean?
I mean, I think it's, you screwed us up.
But, like, how is that related to, like, their chances?
I don't know. I mean, actually, I don't know. I think maybe it's just, was Sam pessimistic earlier? Did Sam say anything to suggest that he doesn't believe that there's anything they could do?
No, Sam hasn't really said much.
Okay.
Dean's like heading towards the car, and then Sam goes, Dean. And Dean stops, and Sam goes, is there something you want to say to me? And Dean thinks for a second, and he goes, I tried, Sammy. I mean, I really tried, but I just can't keep pretending that everything's alright. Because it's not, and it's never going to be. Ever. You chose a demon over your own brother. Which, we already discussed that this literally makes no sense unless you think that Dean is so sure that the voicemail went through correctly, Sam listened to it, and then chose to do that anyway, which I think is not... I mean, okay, like, if there was, like, a scene in 422 or 501 where, like, Dean's like, so you got my voicemail? And Sam goes, yeah. Like, I feel like that would do... so much for their like relationship in terms of like ways that we could interpret it. Like, that's juicy and they don't put it in. So like
you know what happened? You know what they should have done is the moment Dean was able to enter that room, instead of turning Ruby around, like right before he stabs Ruby, he goes, wait, did you get my voicemail? And so I was like, yeah, okay, and then stabs Ruby.
For realsies. But yeah, whatever. You chose a team. Okay, but I don't even think he means it just in the voicemail way. I think it's just like, I told you to stop talking to that girl and then you still did. Like, and for Dean, that's equivalent to choosing Ruby over him, which is dumb. Sam is just sort of standing here taking this and like looking sad and remorseful and shit. Like, ugh. You chose a demon over your own brother. It's stupid. We've already talked about how Dean's approach to arguments is just do what I say because it's me and you like me more. And like, that's just his thing for years and years and years. So, like, that bullshit paired with his I refuse to hear you explain any of your thoughts or thoughts or choices bullshit is, like, what creates him thinking that Sam chose a demon over his own brother. Like, he didn't. Like, you just created, like, ultimatums at, like, step 1 instead of, like, step 20. And, like, you created them in your mind. You thought that Sam, like, just being like, no, I'll still talk to Ruby after you were like, I don't like that you talked to Ruby. You thought that was, like, Sam being like, that means I like Ruby more than you, and also I don't want to be your brother anymore because Dean's standards for what it means to be loyal are just crazy and weird.
Completely fucked, yeah.
Yeah, like... what Sam did was it was like he chose a strategy for stopping the apocalypse that he thought had a better chance of success than the one that Dean wanted to do. Like, that's it.
Yeah. No, Supernatural's fucked up. It's a fucked up show.
So true. And then Dean ends the sentence with, and look what happened. Oh, I hate when Supernatural decides Dean's right about everything and then uses the plot to justify it. I hate it so much.
I don't know. I will see where the rest of season 5 comes, because I feel like I misremember a lot of this. So I will hold my tongue.
Okay. And so
I do. This scene very much does feel like, you know, that fucking thing where it's like that text post that's like a Supernatural episode throughout is like Sam being like, Dean, we should talk about it, and Dean being like, no, we shouldn't. And then at the end, like Dean being like, actually, we should talk about it. I'm so sad and upset all the time. And Sam being like, okay. It's like. This episode.
Yeah, that is how it is.
This is what I mean when I say, like, I don't know, like, just don't talk about it when it like wouldn't do anything.
When you're not ready to talk about it.
Yeah, like when you're not ready to talk about it, or ready to actually do anything to resolve the thing, because it'll just okay. Well, now we're all miserable, and we're all aware of how we're all miserable, and we can't do anything about it. One's like, okay, fine.
Okay. Yeah.
But also, like, this thing is like, you know, it's like Sam was like, I want to explain, and Dean was like, no. But now that Dean is like, let's talk, it's just Dean talking, and that is incredibly frustrating. Because it's like, because you like, put everything in a box inside of you. Like, when it starts spilling out, there's no room for anyone else to talk.
Yeah.
So there's also that aspect, I suppose. Although my thoughts on this is just shut the fuck up, everyone. Like, solve the apocalypse and then we're done.
And
then just meet
like
once every 2 months.
Resentment builds up, and I think it decreases their apocalypse stopping efficiency if they don't talk about it eventually. But probably not first episode.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Sam goes, I would give anything to take it all back. Sorry, Sam.
I know you will.
Yeah, Dean does say, I know you would. And I know how sorry you are. I do. But man, you were the one that I depended on the most. And you let me down in ways that I can't even.
You said you let me down in all the ways that we know and in some that we don't.
Literally. And okay, I think this part I do sort of understand where he's coming from. Just that, like, Sam did lie to him a lot. But like, I don't know, whatever. Whatever. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Dean just says, I'm having a hard time forgiving and forgetting here, you know? And Sam says, what can I do? And Dean goes, honestly, nothing. And Sam just nods, looks sad, looks accepting. And Dean continues by saying, I just don't think that we can ever be what we were, you know? And another nod, another accepting look. And I guess this is like the most they've gone against each other before.
Wait, wasn't there an episode where Sam goes, you and I, like, we can work together, but we're not gonna be brothers? I think that's next episode, really? Actually.
Oh, okay. Spoilers.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about it, and I was like, was that season 5 or was that later in the show? I'm not sure.
Yeah. And then finally, Dean goes, I just don't think I can trust you. And Sam does look up at this, like, he does look upset at this last one. Dean just starts walking away from him, and we get like an overhead shot of Dean walking towards the Impala and Sam's face where he and Sam's just standing there in the middle of the road for any car to hit.
Yeah. And, you know, it's a visual of distance growing bigger and bigger. It's pretty fun. Yeah. Well, how did we feel, etc.? I like this episode. I don't love it, but it's I think it's one of the first episodes where I'm not, like, egregiously mad at everything. I feel like the last two were kind of in that department of, like, it's confusing, I'm mad. I don't know. This one, even if there's less cast, it's still fun.
I feel like I generally did enjoy it. Like, maybe more than I enjoyed 422. Like, I think it's
But
not
you didn't
as
enjoy
well,
that one.
Yeah, I don't think it's as well written as 422, but, like, I was more engaged than I was in 422.
Yeah, but also this one is beginning of a season, so, like, they're introducing new things, so the excitement is still there, you know?
Yeah.
Versus,
I was
like,
very excited to see Meg and Cass, so that was all fun.
Yeah. Well, best line, worst line?
Yeah, my best line, as I said, was when Meg says, you know, we're all dreaming again for the first time since we were human. I think it's just so fun. I love the way she talks.
Yeah. My best line is, we need to find Cass, because I did scream, oh my god, it's Steve Free Will, when it happened. And it literally is.
Yeah.
Worst line.
I don't know. I mean, there were lines that I was like, these are clunky, but I don't remember one specifically.
Yeah, me too. I don't actually have a worst line. Oh, also, I really like the "It's been a stressful day" by Chuck. I think that was fun. I think Chuck was really fun this episode, and yeah, very fun. I don't know. I don't really have a line that I don't like, I suppose.
Yeah, like the things that like I was mad at mostly were like just like in character things, and I was just mad at the character.
Oh, I have a line that I don't like. I mean, the Becky stuff, I suppose.
Oh, I totally forgot about her.
She does speak her fan fiction out loud, so those are lines.
Yeah, no, those are quite bad lines. Let's not have those lines.
Yeah, well, spreadsheet. Spread those sheets.
Okay, misogyny.
For misogyny, I would say...
Okay, so there was Becky.
There was... Oh, definitely. That's like...
Yes. Becky's a lot.
I feel like a tree.
Wow, already? Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
I think if we combine the laziness with the Meg sexual assault character thing, I think that does take us to a 3.
Okay, a 3.
No, I think that takes us to a 3.
Racism. Yeah. I don't think there's any character of color in this scene, in this episode.
And they don't manage to be racist. Do they say anything racist? I don't think so.
Don't think so. And then
of
homophobia. I mean, no, I don't think so.
Is he looks like Cate Blanchett thing something?
That's
probably more of a misogyny, I think.
No, I think that's a homophobia.
Okay, all right. Let's go for it. Let's give it a 1.
Yeah.
All right.
Was Cate Blanchett already famous for playing lesbians in 2009?
What
is she famous for playing lesbians, or is she famous to me for playing lesbians? She's
only famous to you for playing lesbians.
Okay, great. Well,
IMDb.
Oh yeah, the IMDb rating for this episode. What do you think is it?
8.9. Why not?
8.9. That's pretty high. You know what? I will go 8.8 because I'm a coward and I lost last time.
Yeah, should I be the leader of the IMDb scoring this season?
Let's do it this season. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
It is an 8.7.
Good job. You got close.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
So much even.
Oh, the IMDb thumbnail for it is Meg.
Meg.
So true.
So true. This one said when they finished season 4, they thought the show has gone too far, but it hasn't, and it's only gotten better. I think this season is going to be one of the best episodes. Keeps you guessing, and not only that, allows you to really understand things much better. I am not sure about this glowing praise. Like, I know I said the episode was great. I mean, good. But, okay.
I admit I'm one of the people who has never been that wowed by the character of Bobby. I mean, he's an alright character, and I don't mind his helping out / aiding the boys occasionally, but I think that due to his popularity with a lot of people, we kind of got oversaturated with Bobby appearances in season 4. And really, given how everyone hates the boys being rescued by female characters all the time, why should it be any different with male characters? So true. I also don't appreciate the way he talks to Sam or Dean at certain times.
Love that.
And then they said that the reason that you can tell he's possessed is that we see him walking into the building holding his cap instead of already having it on his head.
Oh my god, no, I think that is true.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
This one, like, recaps the entire episode from start to finish. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's our job, though.
It's our job, and we do it for 4 hours long. Just go. They head to Chuck's house only to find him terrified, and we find out that Castiel is dead. Oh no! But hold your tears, it gets worse. I love that.
Wait, why does it get worse?
No,
what's
it's
worse
just,
than Cass being dead?
I actually don't know. I think it's just that Bobby almost died, and then at the end they go, happy, happy, happy. Cass is not dead. Bobby is not dead. All seems all right in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what else? Cass's doubts are here. I literally just
this
looked up
person
Cass
mention,
and
like it's gross what like that Becky refuses to stop touching Sam. This would never have occurred with the genders reversed. I don't know if that's necessarily true on Supernatural, but maybe. The writers eventually realized this and finally course correct a bit in season 15, but still, yikes, this is true.
I don't think it would not happen when the genders are reversed due to we have the Wishing Well episode.
Yeah.
And I think many things about that one has said many things about how Supernatural will deal with other things.
Yeah.
This one says the fiction is super, a legendary script. The cast character is awesome as the title. And then the review is the fiction is super, a legendary script. The cast character is awesome. I understand it wholeheartedly. So that's it for this episode of Fascination Beauties. Next week we will be discussing season 5, episode 2. Good God, y'all. Leave us a rating or a review wherever you get your podcasts.
Follow us on social media. We are on Tumblr at bustyasianbeautiespod.tumblr.com. Our official tag is BABPOD, BABPod. Thanks to everyone who's donated to our Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/bustyasianbeautiespod, which is where our outtakes live. And check out our merch at babpod.redbubble.com.
Email us at bustyasianbeautiespod@gmail.com. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. Bye.